Peace and blessings, everybody. Welcome back to another University of Conscious Science special, hosted by yours truly, Lord Enki, owner, creator. It's a place of truth and wisdom, understanding, bringing to understanding our conscious community with nature and God and the whole concept of what's going on. That's the peace and blessings, Chris Starr. Yes, chaos being is here. That's right. It's time to put some order into this world, man. Clear up a lot of this chaos. Naga Olmec, peace and blessings. It's good to see you. I'm gonna put this tune on that I'm working on while we're doing this. Let everybody get in real quick. So let me just press play on my machine. Peace and blessing, Kwara L. It's wonderful every day, no doubt. Naga Olmec, everybody give each other love. I'm glad to see y'all so far. Cam, what's going on? Peace, brother.
I think I was cool. I used to think I was a gangster too.
There's some new shit right here I'm doing.
Until I fell off the earth and dropped out of school. Got my GED and obtained my street degree. My mama ain't raised me to hustle for free, but she taught me to give to charity. I see things other people just don't see. It's the God in me. We share it, but can you see it, touch it, feel it, or hear it? Until you're aware of it, feel the spirit. I'ma reveal it. It's the mystery.
That's what's up, Cam. I'm glad to hear that. You getting ready to go to... That's what's up.
Where pockets are broke, sitting around with only dreams of hope. Quick to think, demons gang stalk that we can sling. Here in the belly of the beast, the gun is the police and the priest. The mayor's Buffy the vampire slayer. After she do her obeah, you pay her. Predator prayer, so we carry pocket rifles. We used to carry sawed-off rifles. Nowadays we just look at you and you can tell I don't like you. I stay in my lane and advise you to do the same. I love ginger sour. The crabs under my feet, so I made off with the whole barrel. Now
All right. Yeah, we got a lot to deal with today. It's going to be on and popping. Yes, I like the way your rap has that poetic vibe. Thank you, Naga. Definitely. Angelic beings, it's just naturally in us. We try to pull it out the ethers and let everybody experience it. It's important for us to tap in. I like the young generation that is so interested in tapping in. It means the future is beautiful. We're getting there, all right? And the reason why this is important, we've been miseducated, man. We've been servants and slaves and taught wrong. Y'all know that. That's why everybody tune in to get something new, to unweave this reality so we could get ourselves going in this motherfucker and not just sit back and be a servant all the rest of our life like our ancestors, parents, and their parents, so forth. So on that note, that's the reason why it's important to get this information and understand. It's a matrix here. It's not what you see is going on. It's not what you sense is going on. It's not what you feel is going on. That's what this talk is going to be about. We're going to be dealing with something I've been talking about for a while, which is this Odic energy, or OB and OD. The history of this, we're going to discuss the history before we come into the present. Enki don't take the short, quick way to anything. So this image right here is important because this image represents the Caduceus we know today, what we call the Caduceus, so you understand it. And that's Greek, that Caduceus word. It has another name before it was a Caduceus. It had another name before it was called the Caduceus of Hermes or Thoth or whatever. And this is an image that's taken from West Africa. This is where it comes from, West Africa. And this is why it's as important for us to understand this. Because as a researcher, I research everything. I'm going through weird experiences with these beings, seeing into this stuff that I'm telling you about. And so I wouldn't have no reason The original Greeks was all melanated. Yes, they knew they was melanated. Remember, when you hear about the Greeks and the Romans, you hear about Egyptians. You hear back to Egypt. Everybody went to Egypt. Look at all the great philosophers, astronomers, historians from back then, such as Plato, Pythagoreans. All these people, remember, they was actually going to Egypt and repping Egypt. They was not denying who they are, much less did they come up with their own form of knowledge. Their knowledge was actually from Egypt, and they kept it in. This is the important part, in the Egyptian integrity. When we talk in the Egyptian integrity, this is where we get kind of commercial sounding. I'm not a commercial dude, you know that. But now, when you're talking integrity, you're talking about the meta nature. And the meta nature means just the gods, one, first of all. That's what it just means, the gods. But it's a law of cause and effect. That's what everything got twisted with the Greeks, not the Romans, really, the Greeks. And this is where it happened. So that y'all know for history and y'all get it right, because this is the most game-changing thing that ever happened. What happened is the Greeks, yes, they're melanated. Of course, the Greeks comes from the Etruscans. That's why the Greeks claim dog. They come from two dogs, Remus and Ramus, the two dogs. And those two Doberman Pinscher looking dogs is who they equate as their ancestors and their bloodline and progenitors there. But we know from history, when y'all followed me, when I teach y'all from the Negroes, came the Niggerettes, then, the Negritos, and then came the Kafars, the Hottentot, and then, you get there's, it's a few more. I didn't run through them all, because Pygmy would have been first, and Bushman. You gotta know these as history, because you're dealing with the geniuses, the educated men of the world. We're not fools. We don't just listen to signs. So if you know these as genetic key markers, or what we call cross genetics in the human race, what we call when diversity had occurred by actually migrating from one location to another, which would cause a genetic mutation, because your genes is always exchanging with the environment. That's how you get your different colors of races, with the Hottentot and the Etruscans forming this European race. You see, this could be easily traced because the Hottentotans, when you look at the Hottentotans, these is light-skinned black people, black Negroes, because they're registered as Negroes, but wear shoes and top hats. These people wear shoes. These are people, that was what made them so unique, and it's the start of European tradition started coming with the Hottentotans. By the time the Etruscans came in, which is still blacks, you're looking at people that was more European, period, in their wearing of clothes. Back when you're talking now Hottentot and down, before Hottentotans, during the time of Hottentot, these people ran concurrently. You had on one side of the mountains, or more South Africa-ish, the Kafars. Whose are the Kafars? Zulu Nation is the Kafar. Zulu people. But when you look at it from a European point of view, which is a good point of view, they see it, because we don't see our differences because we're one race. We all look the same. We see it, we all black. That's how we see it. But they see differences in us because they're not one of us. They could see the differences. So they started noticing the ones they call kafars was these tall ones, brown skin, like about my complexion, who had the slit right here. So that's how you become a kafar, how they know you're a kafar, because of these features. And so they could track out the different features all the way back to the original flat-nosed, broad Negro with the matted, dark purple skin. So they know how everything came into being. And you got your red man, your brown man, and everything. Like, we're the red people, even though we got an indigo glow. If you see an aura coming out of me, or of a color of magenta too, they call us red. They don't see us like how we see ourselves. We black, we brown. We don't see us that. They call us the red man, because that's what permeates out of this color that they're seeing, a glow. And not all the different tribes had it. You have tribes that didn't mix. Like, at that time, the Pygmy tribe never mixed with the Bushman tribe. It's a cross-genetic, a mutation would occur, that the Pygmies had to run away from them. That's why they ran from everybody, because their genes were subject to whoever else came around them. You was going to have an energy exchange and gene exchange. So they was always running while the mutated people was just taking over the world, chasing the pygmies. Because when you're looking at it this way, pygmies is the seed that plants into the earth. And then from there, a tree grows. These trees is different as you go to different locations, with each one now being your sub-races and your different races coming into being. And as each race came, they who was lighter tend to gravitate together and start off your different ones. So you had people such as your Vietnamese coming into the picture first, your Mongoloids, which would have been called Malays back then. These people called them Malays. You got to see, they're still in Mali, around the Mali area, because this is all around there, because it starts in West and they migrate. You understand? And so as they do, when you get to Southeast Africa, this is where you get their Trustians, and everybody now is a clear complexion. But with it, remember now, I tell you, you got a lowerness in consciousness. As the color changes, the ones who was able to remain conscious, this is very important to catch, was the Greeks and the Romans. Remember this. They grew civilization because they stood to the root. They went back every time to get the knowledge. They took the knowledge and brought it into Greece. They brought it into Rome. They built the obelisks. They took the Egyptian statues. They just made it white. So they didn't break the root thing that kept consciousness going for them. Because if you look at it like this, if you have a dark-skinned son and a light-skinned son, and the light-skinned son said, fuck the rest of y'all, because the whole family's dark-skinned. He go over here, find himself a Puerto Rican woman or something, and now he think he's Puerto Rican too. He's going to act Puerto Rican and do Puerto Rican things. He's going to leave this side of his culture, the black side, and that's how you get new sub-races going and bringing up their own nationality. They all stick together because of their color, and they repulse back the original root. But if you look at any real Puerto Rican, the further you go back in their picture album, the darker they become. You look at any Vietnamese, Chinese, Philippines, the more you go back in their photo album, the darker they become. Everybody was like, Germans was like that too. Don't get it twisted. Everybody. So we see the pygmy as the seed that first dropped, and then races come. But now, depending where you're at, the climate. Remember now, we're going to get into Orphic energy, so this will be the beginning of your learning of Orphic energy, or what we call Oduduwa in West Africa, because this is the knowledge of West Africa. And I was making a point that as a researcher that is researching myself, who has these Orphic energies that make me see angels, beings, they got so much profound control over my life. If I do something wrong, they really come in and tell me not to do it. I see them clear as day when they're ready to. Sometimes I see them subtly in the air when I'm ready. And it's all, to me, research. I don't see this as normal. And it didn't happen in my life. It happened late in my life, over 5 years ago now. And so it's making me taking notes. It changed me. It made me intelligent, smart, and go through a lot of righteous stuff. Plus, I got 2 worlds. I deal with this world for a while, but then I got another world inside air that is perfectly like normal. It turned to like a DMT show, and in it now everything is like holograms that can brighten up on the levels of your ability to perceive, from shadow to color over the shadow to more color to full 10K type quality. Depending how much of it you can receive as these these light information that comes into your third eye. And in it, it's like I don't have my eyes open, my eyes is closed, but I'm in darkness and I see everything in darkness. But they have a different look to them. I don't see, like if I had a light bulb or something, it wouldn't look like a light bulb in the dark. It looked like some weird fountain of flowing energy just coming out, and this spooks me out. It creeps me out so much I don't sleep with my lights off. So these things I'm concerned with, and I want to know, why is this happening? What's this? Who's these beings? All of them at will, I could call them and they come right now, and they're right there. And they, not something I could ignore, because when I do something that I'm not supposed to do, they appear and make it known to me. And so, wouldn't you be curious to say, what's this? What is this about? And rituals that I never knew I could do, I'm just doing automatically. So this is just my concern that I say, I started researching this stuff. So in the research now, I started not finding it in basic religion. If I followed religion, and I'm going to use religion as Google. If you follow Google information, it's not real. It's based upon what we believe and what society agree upon. And so when you see that, you have double meanings to everything. And so when we go through these spiritual experiences, we activate our true self coming to us, not to program us that the government program, not to parent us. Believe me, for you to be the way you are, you had to be traumatized. You understand? Because it traumatized me to realize I can't do certain things that I used to do. I'm not seeing the world the same way. And I have to separate myself now to remain this way, so I could go back and sleep in myself and just fall into the government path or into the path of I know what it is, but most of us don't believe in this stuff called like Satan and this and that until you see it for yourself. Because you're not who you think you are. They're making you, programming you to think you're this person. You're not, everything that you see is not fixed. There's nothing fixed here. And you could just use basic knowledge to understand nothing is fixed, because if everything was fixed, you would leave and come back and it'll still be here. When you leave and come back, everything changes. It doesn't matter where it is. You could go away for a week and come back. Your house is more dusty than it was. And if you come back in 100 years, it'll probably be a whole new building there, and it won't be there. And you come back 1,000 years, probably that whole geographical location is gone. Something like that nature. So you realize everything is always in motion and changing. So with that now in mind, with us seeing the world fixed, we don't know when we spiritually activate, things happen inside of us. And we having a misbalance between the inner us and the outer us. And a lot of us can't make full understanding of it. And so we go about and choose the material world, the external world. And then what we say, neglect our internal spiritual side. And then when we pass away, we're in trouble, big trouble. That's it. There's nothing to it. Life don't end when you die. You can't die. You understand? And I'll break down more physics for you to understand that even when you slap your hand just now, that energy still dissipate into something else, and it's still going, it's still going, it's still going. Just this now, right now, that energy I just created never died. It's just going to keep changing form, going to other world. The sound right now, vibration later, then something else, and probably become a human being later. But we don't know these things because we don't know God's science. We don't know natural science. And so right now, the first thing we're going to learn is why we do the things we do. That's the first thing, which is called psychology. When you say psychology, psychology is not a true word. Where does this word psychology come from? Is where you need to understand psyche, the word psyche. And so when you look it up, it goes back to the Greeks again. The Greeks made up the word psyche, and psyche is the beginning word of psychology, psychic, all the stuff, the psych thing. So what is the psy? And so what the Greeks call the psyche is a word for they defined was the soul. So what we call psyche or psychology is the soul stuff. We interpret it in the Western world as mind stuff. It's not mind stuff. You don't have a mind. You live in a mind. But you have a soul inside of you, which is Greek interpreters as psyche. And the Western world, they used it in this thing called psychology, where they master your soul. That's what's been going on. C.J. Jung helped understand and study C.J. Jung, and you will see he teaches Kundalini to the Western world. He teaches all the systems that we're about to go through from Obatala, which is OB, and OD stands for Oduduwa Western, which will mean now in our modern term, Odic energy, because I'm taking y'all back to the 1500s with this one in 1400s. Then it was called Odic energy because we lost the definition and everything was taken away from us. So you wouldn't know how to use your magnetic powers how Jesus was doing all these stuff. So I'm teaching you that you could still do it through this Oric energy, and a lot of us is activated and just don't know how to use it. So you're going to learn this now by being conscious of all this information that I'm going to be pushing on to you throughout this little lecture that we're about to discuss. So now, this has, from I said, been studied by C.J. Jung and documented, and who we think we are is not who we are, and how we work is not how we work, but we could be programmed to work how they want us to work or how you desire yourself to be. But you still have an inner you that is part of nature, and it works off of nature, it works off of time. And so you have to actually learn this stuff, and it's not in no English form. You understand? So let's get back to this real quick on the OB and OD, and you understand this Q, the caduceus. Plus, I want you to understand the AWR up on the top. These is very important. You're also looking at what's called the Sephiroth. Also, this is another example of the tree of life. All you got to do is connect them, go across Chikman, Bina. You know, this will be Ein, you know, Ein Sof and so forth. This would also be Obdua, Obatala, Odudwa, you know, crosses the abyss. And when you come down here, you got Shango, Gemaya is down here in the middle right here. So all of this is the same science, but we just don't understand it. I'll show you the picture. As a matter of fact, let me show you how it would look if you was to see it in the other form. All right. This is what it would look like then. So you will see now with the names on it. And you see it's called, the system itself is called Olarum. And it's very important. You Google Olarum and you will see that system with Obatala at the top. You see the name, number 10. You see Odudwa. Then over here you got Unse. And down here now you got Ugaga and Jakuta. Shango is in the middle right here. Shango is very important to know. It's a bald-headed black man, and he's inside of you. All of this is inside of you. There's nothing outside of you, but this is your body. This is your whole tree. This is what's called the tarot cards, and you all these beings, you're all these spheres. It's very important for you to understand spheres because you're magnetic. You're magnetic and electric. These two forces stick together. So when you're looking at this thing that we call the caduceus, you're actually looking at Odudwa is magnetic, Obatala is electric, spirit is electricity, magnetics is a woman named Odudwa, Set is Odudwa, this is Odudwa, also called Lucifer, Satan, the devil. This is what's inside of you. When these two meet right here at the center and touch, this is when you come in. This is ecstasy for you. This is why you have sex, to make these two touch right here. And this goes up your spine to your pituitary and pineal gland. This is your crown chakra right here. This is your head. You understand? Up here you do have wings because this is where you become the angel. This is what's also called Awas. Awas, when you're looking at it from thalmatic form of it. And Thelma is what Aleister Crowley broke down this whole system as he became every being in it, telling you about the gatekeepers in the different worlds that's inside of you. Same thing, C.J. Jung break it down to you. This is at your first root chakra right here, which is Leviathan the serpent. This is a long story, but if you have time, I'll explain it to you. But we're starting off at the beginning, and this starts off in West Africa. This information cannot be found. And I wanted you to understand why, as a researcher, when I'm looking up cause and effect to me, I got ran out of space. It's either when the person turn up a mystery, it's unknown. That means it's West African information or African information, and it's taken out of society. And now for you to get a hold of it, you would have to go to medieval books. Medieval books wrote out all of Africa, and in them, they've been studying our body and knew all of this, and they passed it off to Europeans. Then the sacking of the temples and everything falls into these lines. So just to prove my point, I'm going to show you where I was able to learn Odudwa. I gave y'all the broadcast, and I'm going to run over it real quick what Obatala is and that real quick, the tree of life, before we start. But I'm going to show you, actually, in reference to what I'm saying as a researcher, why we can't find certain information. As you can see, this is by, this guy name is Reichenbach. He's the one who started studying Odu. See Od right here? Odudwa is right here as magnetism. So I'm not telling you something. And this is what it says. I want you to see this first because it's backwards for me, maybe not for you, but I'm going to read you what it says real quick. It says published for the first time in English. This is the most important part you need to see right there. Published for the first time in English. They don't give us this information that you need. So I talk to you about Odudwa. You tell me, no, this is not real. What is that? A God? And I tell you, God's is forces. God's is not what we think, because Obatala is a God and so is Odudwa. But when I tell you now, this is actually information that's available about Odudwa right there, the two letters. So we're not looking at God, we're looking at magnetism and what it can do. So when you read now, this is what's called the Odic theory. You see it right there, the Oric theory. And this, you got a lot of different things, because you see OD, right? We don't realize the OD right here, when you put a G in front of it, what does it spell? G-O-D. So you're worshiping G-O-D, or Odic energy. You understand what I'm saying? Nothing in reality is a joke. And I'm going to break it down to you so you don't think that I'm tripping out. Because we get our word G-O-D from the Germans. That's a German word that was first Wodan. W-O-D-A-N. Wodan was originally, still part of now West German, Odin. It was the original word, Odin. Odin is a man on a tree with a spear. Google it right now. Same as Jesus. You're going to see Jesus. Odin was first, though. It's an older story of a man on a tree. Odin, why the tree and wood? Because wood is the spirits. Wood is where you see spirits on. So the Germans always was in the woods. Celtics, Druids, woods, Hollywoods, the staff. Wood is how people tapped into these elemental spirits. So Budan was a word for wood, just like the word for wood was good. The good comes from wood too, and good comes from God. And God is good, and God is wood. So Wudan and Odin and Od is all the same thing. You get it now? I could take it all the way back. Hopefully, it help I understand about these djinns. All right, Crystal, I'm gonna teach you about the djinns. Let's knock that out real quick, Crystal. The djinns. You're a being. Who's your parents? You're gonna say your mother and your father. Another human being. Okay. Who's the parents of jinns? Let's call jinns the old two, because there's two definitions here, and they're both right. But I'm gonna put it right. Demion or demon, right? Demion. Demion is the original word, and if we go off of that theory, and that is the Greeks and Romans and everybody precursor Egyptians, who's called the Coptics. You know, the Coptic information is Gnostic information, so you got what's calling there the Demion, or Agos Damien, as they call them. And so you got your guardian angel. In the Quran, it says every human being has a guardian angel sent with them. A good one to extract the spirit out of them slowly, and a rough one to extract the spirit out of them slowly, harshly. So all of that is still written down regardless, and dated back, that you have something in you that is not you and is foreign to you. So on that note now, we're talking about the jinns, right? So when we said, like, your parents, who's superior and inferior, well, you know, human being have another human being. Well, if you're a djinn, a demon, now demon from demion. Demon is a new word. It was invented by Christians after they took over after Alexander the Great. Now, this is important to know because, you know, just like you're dual in nature, you have a good side and a bad side. They polarize the demion into a demon. One side is evil side. Remember, they told you they're malevolent and benevolent beings. They're one thing. Like you have your day side of the tree of life, and you have the back of you, the night side of the tree of life. And they're opposite world. Like up here, your crown is up here, and your root is down here. But behind you, your crown is in your ass, and up here is where your root chakra is. So the tree is upside down behind you. So you have a malevolent side of you and a benevolent side of you. They're both there to keep each other in line. So the same being that you see in the daytime, if you could see spirits, because I see these spirits, is the one that come and heal you. Only thing spirits could do in the daytime is healing. Under the sun, only healing could be done. But at nighttime, only stuff to deal with your psychology. When we talking the jinns, demons, they're psychic. That's psychic stuff. So I could get more into them and how they work in a second, and I will. And but I want you to understand first, the jinns, these things. I gave you both the demions, which is one being, an angelic being, but broken down now, either being benevolent, a nice being, or malevolent, a little troublemaker. But then why they use these specific words, benevolent and malevolent, is because the worst is just a troublemaker, and the other one is just a good helper. They're limited within those definitions. It's not something that's evil and can make trouble or this and that. They're the same. That's a word that's opposite. So it's one person who plays that. Now, it depends if it's night or day. You know, in the daytime you're one way, and at nighttime you're a different way. Same thing. Kids run around, play in the day, turn off the lights and see what happens to them when you turn off the lights. They turn into demons, or their demon come out. So anyways, now for you to understand, my point is this. Demons are the kids of angels. Like how our parents were the parents. Yeah, they're only here because angels came and made them. Now, demons made human beings. It's a hierarchy. Everything had to go down. So everybody, if you read the book of Asclepius, and any book before the Christian faith took over, demons was worshipped as our fathers, as higher beings. They're not worshipped as, I don't know, we feel like the government is out to get us, your neighbor is out to get us, so you figure in the spirit world there's something out to get you too. But it's not like that. If something was out to get you, it would have got you because you're unaware of it. Okay, so we tend to bring our self-taught or how we was educated into the spirit world. When the spirit world controls the physical world, if everything is in order, I mean, you cry when you feel emotion, you sweat when you feel heat, everything work according to a law. That means everything is perfect up there for it to be perfect down here. Everything works accordingly. So there's no such thing like demons attacking you, demons making you have bad thoughts, none of this stuff. Let me explain it all to you so you get a right perception of reality. What you're seeing is something that's trying to awake you to your true self, to who you are. You have these sheets inside of you. You're a deck of tarot cards. And the deck of tarot cards is many beings. So as you come down to become calcified into a full form, you have the zodiacs, the last ones, animals over you. That is your protection. It's an aura over you. You're just a bunch of different, you're just a light source, which is consciousness. And then everybody else come over you to make up mad layers until you get to Earth to be this calcified being. If you look at yourself and was to take a piece of your skin off and put it under a microscope, all you are is the same substance that a coal is or a diamond is. A diamond and a coal is the same thing. It's like ice and then water. One is frozen and one is. And so it's the same thing that makes up flesh and skin. It's just coal. Well, they say we're carbon or we're melanated or whatever. So you first have to understand nature and how you are so you'll be able to not take it in a superficial way like, you know, you got the specialness about you, you're super and you're different. No. No, your parents is the jinns. The jinns is higher than you, even in the Bible. It says that. But this is my point. Now, we're the kids of demons, But they're not demons. Who are the demons of the whole system is human beings. Human beings, because they actually don't know what's going on. And because they don't know what's going on, they speculate, they think. They have this thing they call love. And I'm going to do a video on love, true love, what love is, because we lost the definition of love. And I think I need to bring it back. I'm going to do a whole series on love. And once you realize what love is, we realize a lot of the things we're doing is for our personal ego or to hide our true demon self. A lot of us is demons and we don't want to face it. We have ourselves up under people. We curb our demon by laying up under our kids, claiming we're mothers and fathers and parents and not claiming who you are. You're Troy Anderson. You're not a mother. You're not a father. Those are titles the government impose on you. You see your parents do it, and then you run and play the hero too, and go out and do the same thing and feel there's nothing here to do in this world more than to play the hero role. And so you put these systems in yourself and you believe it, and nobody evolves. Everybody did the same thing the last person did. It's the same system. So when you finally get to understand this, you learn about Tantrism, Kundalini, the Bhagavad Gita. You can name any spiritual book or Western knowledge book, start teaching you about self-unfoldment, your soul, your inner self, these beings that make up who you are on a whole. You're a composite being. You know, you're made of earth, air, water, and fire. All these now start coming into your life and start configuring to give you back your memory. And when you start remembering that you're these beings, then you see why you do the things you do. Don't try to change yourself. You want to understand yourself. But we tend to want to be the Matrix program, and the Matrix program say this, so we configure ourselves to be this, not saying, why do I do this, and why this happened, and why that happened, instead of trying to change what I'm doing and change what's happening or change the world. And so that's where our first problem is, that we don't understand. All right, so I want to get now into this to let y'all know the most important thing that you understand. If you're seeing the jinns, if you're seeing demons, you're seeing spirit, what you're seeing now is what we're going to discuss. So let me go into this to break it why you're seeing these things real quick. This is because a lot of us is activating. Our third eye activates. That means you can see into the electromagnetic field with your third eye. With your third eye activated, you can't close your eyes and not. It don't work. That don't work no more. You see through this. So this is always on, regardless. You close your eyes, you're just gonna see Reichenbach here. He put it in here. This is what you need to study to understand. Let me first roll it back a little, and let's go into this Oric energy. Maybe I could do it better this way. With Oric energy, right, what it is, Reichenbach wound up doing a test with like 350 people. And he didn't just use regular people. He used people like Sir Isaac Newton, Copernicus, all the people that was well-renowned in the science world and was esteemed from, kings and all that stuff, to do these tests. And these tests was called highly sensitive people tests. It didn't have the acronym HSP or whatever at that time. And so what they was doing is testing what people do. See, Reichenbach noticed things, and this is what we have as symptoms of what we call the Odic energy and ethereal energy. This is also called orgone energy. It has a profound influence on your psychology. So first thing he started noticing is like certain groups of people, when you group people together, a person will separate and be individual. They won't be in the group. They don't feel they don't feel comfortable in a group. They don't feel comfortable if you touch their hands. They don't feel comfortable with love. But first he started noticing it in colors. Like the average human being, a male especially, if you ask them what's their favorite color, they're going to tell you blue. The majority of the world's favorite color as far as male is blue. And you know, most of the male hate the color yellow. That's not their color, yellow. And he started to realize this, and it led him to understand something about us. And with this now come the human body, where he himself being a victim of the Odic energy, this now started making him realize this made people feel uncomfortable under certain circumstances, with it now being what's blue and yellow in his pure definition, because how he learned was blue and yellow is he took a crystal and he actually put it in himself in darkness for about 3 hours, which rendered after a while his whole body can't see into a kinesthetic form, and he saw now a fountain of oetic oozing off the crystal bottom and out the other side of it. One side of it is blue, the other side of it yellow. Now the thing to it, this is important because he started meeting up other people, and when he met these other sensitive, super sensitive people, these people are so sensitive that they could put their hand over the crystal and feel one side of it cold and one side of it hot. So let me be the first to put you on. Your crystal is polarized on the a north and south, with the north pulling in energy and the south letting the energy out. The north side of it is cold. If you take the crystal and put it on your cheek, feel the coldest part of it is the north side. And the opposite end of it then is going to be the south side. So now you know the north and south side of a crystal. Crystals do have a polarity to them of north and south, and they actually emit oetic energy. And this oetic energy is emitted by human beings, it's emitted by animals, it's emitted by everything. We all emit oetic energy, but only what's called HSPs, highly sensitive people, is either subject to it or actually could see it and interact with it. And this is where you get your basic empath from. Empath could see it to a lot of degree, but they're mostly feelers of it. HSP is fully blown. I'm a HSP, and with it, I don't sleep with no lights off. They're always there. I see them. Even if you look very closely at my eyes, you can see energy flickering around and it's spinning around. This is how it works. And so with that, I see into another world, even though it's just nothing here to you or air. It actually is phonons or subatomic particles that actually interact with my eyes and stuff. It's kind of weird, but this is what the Oric energy do. Now, he never experimented with it as a seer on this level that I'm in it on, but I'm going to give you the basic definition so you can know if you're a HSP or not. A HSP person is basically a person that is highly sensitive to certain foods, certain conditions of touch, like they don't like to be touched in certain places. They don't like certain type of drinks, water. These people are very picky about how they sleep. They sleep either on their right side or they can't sleep on their left side. And all of this now ties into actually the magnetic field. With them, it actually is a magnetic force that compels them. They're under the Oric energy. The Oric now is magnetic, where you get the etheric and the organic. That would be the OD, which is electric, you know. And so when they're under this influence, which comes on occasion, just like, you know, different weathers, they have to always be aligned due north to be in a good spirit, a good mood. If they're not aligned due north, you know, they'll sleep bad. If their bed is not facing due north, or the direction that they're in is not due north, they get spiritual attacks. They actually is cranky, you know, things don't go their way. But if you notice, when they sit, when they're most at their best, where their desk is probably facing, is either going to be due north or west. These two directions is important because half of your body is masculine and feminine, which now the masculine side of it is the negative energy of the Odic energy. It's a cold energy. No. This side will give you a hot energy. And the right on the left side of you now is the positive side of the Odic energy. It's the feminine side, and it gives you the cool energy. and they work together as one energy in the middle, the combustion, but it's a magnetic force that is on every human being. So on you, you have a blue side of your face and you have a yellow side. These two is the two forces that's in the common product of every element of everything that's there. And so you should be able to take from a crystal and feel around it if you're a highly sensitive person, and you should feel an energy emitting from its poles. Like I said, if you don't feel the coolness of it yet, put it against the cheek of your face right here, and you can turn the crystal around till you feel the coldest part of it. That'll be your north side. Then the other side is the south side of it, the opposite side. And if you take that now and you go sit with it in just total darkness, I mean black out everything, eventually you should see the crystal or Deic energy emitting from it, and you should start seeing it in people. One of the ways that they started learning, he did this with over 350 people, and he actually brought it to the government, and the government still wanted to deny it and never actually published it. But his work still went on, and I'm bringing it back. But these people now actually could see it on each other. And what they see is three people. He got it documented. First, you will see a bubbly Casper looking person. Then next, you turn into like this fire person. And then next, you turn into this great big light person, even bigger. So he said this is the test people actually testimony of what they seen. And he ran it concurrently with over 350 people and came to the conclusion that this HSP is not just for highly sensitive people. He said there's a group of extraordinary people that is just here that they don't know where they come from or how they came, but they have higher senses and can sense things way deeper, see ghosts, see spirits. So he even wrote a theory in the book on ghosts and demons because they see into that, so they experiment with them, they get to test it. Now, I'm not going to go into all those details, but to get you going, the highly sensitive person going through spirituality, anxiety, if you find yourself aligning more better to a north or west direction, a lot of us sleep on our right end, but never took out our iPhone and pulled out the compass and see. Take out your compass and see what direction you're sleeping. See what direction your head is facing in. See when you're most comfortable in a position, even if it's sitting by the water. See what direction that is in. See what north is. You're aligned with that because your body is the same way. It's a polarity of north and south. And so by you actually complementing the energy instead of going against it, you will make your odilic energy more aligned and flow from the top to the bottom because it's coming from north, south to south. And so this also is replicated in the earth itself with the Tropic of Cancer, and I mean the Tropic of Cancer on the bottom and the Tropic of Capricorn on the top. Capricorn is the cold. Spirits is cold. Cancer is the hot part. And this is where you get yourself and all this stuff from, because this is a rotation of the energy, the Zodiac energy that is permeating through everything. It permeates through everything. You can't avoid it. But some people is just not highly sensitive to it and they can't do it. So in here, he reads and tell you that there's people who subject to it because of their sensitivity. And so most of these, break it down. If you want to get the book, like I said, this has just been translated, but it breaks down your basic indigenous person. A lot of people from the Caribbean is mad sensitive. Don't look at sensitive today as a gay thing or funny thing or something is wrong with you. It's the new higher self. It's the new powers. That's what you need to tap in. Now, as long as you're sensitive to these energies, it's amazing what you could do from there, because he just did the physical aspects of it. And when I say the physical aspect, these guys was using them to make tables wobble, fans spin, blades turn around, chairs move, just messing with the Oric energy in their hands. It all comes through your hand. You should always feel in your left hand cool energy. This is so deep. He takes a rod. You could take a stick, just a piece of stick, break it off, and go out in the sun where half your body is under the shade. Put your body under the shade and then put the stick out in the sun with your arm, and you will see that actually the stick is going to get cool, and you're going to feel cool breeze come out of it. He's saying that only thing come from the left side, or the positive side, is cool air. Even when you're in the sun, if you was in the sun, it'll feel cool. You understand? That's his science. And then from the left side, it's always going to feel hot, discomfortable, and ungood to you. And so a lot of us is experiencing that in our lives. We're in an uncomfortable, hot situation, bad relationship, because we got that bad Zodiac energy over us. So I'm now going to give you a quick run around of, let me give you first, since I'm here in Rhinebeck's material, a little bit of how it works. Big up, LK, good to see you. So much mixed information, don't know how to continue or breaks. One love, beauty beings, hope everyone is having a beautiful day. Yes, I still think a lot of different races have to do with gene splicing. All right, let me break it down to you. Now I got gene splicing, right? Gene splicing is like something you gotta have a lab and you build it up. But let me break it down to you. And I'm gonna use the biblical version for this simple one. When you look at gene splicing is demonstrated in the Bible when Laban had these sheeps, and Jacob, when it took his sheeps and turned them to speckled sheeps, brown sheeps, all the black goats, he changed their color using a magnetic rod. So that been happening. We're gene splicing. You want to gene splice, move your location. You're going to gene splice. You're going to mutate. Once you move, you change your location. You're in a magnet. You're in a magnetic field. And everything is a magnet. So what we're talking about with the Zodiac energy on the magnet in the north and the south is the big version of the same genetic splicing by just changing location. Your genes are facing due north all the time. So you're doing genetic splicing, but you're talking about like the mad scientist. Somebody took a person and took them in the lab and opened them up and took out a gene and then went and grew another person and then insert them into a country and made them go fuck everybody and do it that way. I've seen that movie a whole bunch of times, and that's why our perception can only see it that way. But when you take people like Genghis Khan, who actually fathered the Italian nation, he didn't do it that way. But his genetics is in every Italian. Thank you for the knowledge you shared with me last week, Enki. You brought me a lot of enlightenment. Appreciate you and everyone in the chat. Thank you. Yes, thank y'all. We're amongst people that actually is trying to be the learned. They're called the learned. LK, I want to talk about Ethiopia real quick. I want to touch on this because this Oric energy comes from now Ethiopia. Let's get to Ethiopia because we're ancestors here. Now, tracking this Oric energy down, it didn't come to me as this Oric energy, which I'm going to still break down more because you got to know the symptoms. The symptoms is unbelievable. You're going to be like, damn, this is what's been wrong with me. But before I do, I'm going to go back to the actual research. When y'all see it from the research, it will make more sense of how the spirits work, the ancestors work, because I've been sitting on this. And when I started going back into the ancestors, I'd go there flying in like a light body, and I watched everything. I saw the abuse they was going through. I saw people getting killed and murdered and didn't want to see it no more. And it made me mad and angry. And it made me more patriotic towards my people. And I said, you know what, I'm not going to broadcast this. I'm not going to teach this, because if it does this to me, it's going to do this to them too. And so I always kept everything on the low when it came to our information, and sensitive to it because it's kind of deep. But, for us to understand, I'm going to have to first take you back to the beginning. So this is my research. I even got my mind map, what I'm saying? I draw. Let me see if I could pull it up. Oops. Let me see. Where's my... Okay, there it is. Look, I even got my brain map. We're going to go through this brain map right here for you to understand this. So this is where everything is going to go deep, 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 and we're going to take it into a whole bunch of this stuff that you're seeing over here that I'm showing you that you don't understand how it all ties in. So, just sit down, get your little juice or whatever. It's going to be a little minute because I want to break this down. And it's missing parts here. I noticed that. So we're going to go into Ethiopia from here. Oh, here, there's this over here. You see it's more? I take it to over here. You see? We'll be over here first with this little part. We're going to start off. You see how my mind map works? I got everything mapped out and tied in. Everything tied in for y'all. So it's kind of be done. And if y'all want this mind map, I could send it to you. The liquid text version of it is dope. But what we're going to do first, we're going to read from Tantra, the Afro-Tantra of the Kalas. Kali is very important for you to understand what's going on, because Kali is behind all this. You don't know. If you remember the reader that I left on my bed, and it's just reading about the Vardan. If you listen to that, it's telling you who's your enemy, who's the deceiver, Kali Naranja. And here we go again. We're coming back to the same word when we're talking about West Africa with the Kalas. And if you're going to know, when we get into this, all is going to be like with K, Cahoon. All the words these words with the K in it, you're going to realize has to do with the vagina. This is going to get so deep. That's what I'm trying to tell you. All K words has to do with the vagina. This is how much I've done this research and could break it down to the simplest compound. So let me start now by reading to you from the Afro-Tantric Tarot, so you understand when I say your body is the tarot, where the tarot come from. I'm not going to just tell y'all. I like to give you the information so you can follow up. Say this don't make no sense. You just be a following person because I said it. No, I'm going to go read it to you. So we're going to read from Kenneth Grant, the Afro-Tantric Tarot of the Kalas real quick, just to get y'all a good understanding of what I'm saying. It says, the tree of life has been described as the ground plan for the Western esoteric tradition. In this and much more, in a sense other than the demonstrated in the previous chapter, its declination are capable of illuminating the arcane system of the classic antiquity by reference to the cults from which they originally emerged, the cults of Africa. As you can see, this is where it comes from. He says it right there, originally from the cults of Africa. That's where they originally emerged. But this, I told you, when you're doing research into the occult, this esoteric, even seeing spirits, you're cut short. You ain't going to find nothing but stuff that tell you it's evil, it's bad, there's devils, there's demons, there's this religious stuff. So this is what I needed to find to understand, and I'm pretty sure you understand more. So he says, furthermore, traces of some of the most obscure magical languages are yet extant in some of the god names, places, and ancient dialects of Africa. In the West African fetish cults, for instance, are preserved some of the primal names of magical power that was carried over and integrated with Egyptians and Chaldeans tradition at a much later age. So if you're hearing, he's saying that West African stuff was later integrated into Egypt and Chaldea at a much later age. This is way, way earlier than actually them. So you get to see it's something that existed prior to them that has knowledge that we don't have no knowledge of. What I'm trying to tell you is that the French, the Spains, the Germans, they're written out in these books and they're not translated into English. You have to get your sneak way of catching this information, because it'll tell you about your ancestors, it'll tell you more about your body and why they have the Templar Karnak, why they do the things they do, and I'll go more into details, but let me read some more to you real quick. It says, the pantheon of these primal cults are replete with names suggesting Enochian, Atlantean, and even earlier rootage. So I want you to understand, when y'all talking about the Atlantean people is broken down to you right here. And the Enochian people is broken to you right down here by Kenneth Grant. He first tell you that these people was the Africans. It doesn't say nothing about no Europeans or anything like that. He's telling you that they have the actual writings. So do Manly P. Hall says the statues, the shields, all of that of the first African tribes or the African tribes such as the Bantu, the Igbo, actually has the insignias and the piece and symbols of Atlantis, with them learning first the ATL. Those three letters was in West Africa. They found ATL, which didn't appear again nowhere else in the world till and the Mayan chief, what's his name? Attila or whatever, that's when it popped back up again. So they know those is the same people. So it's the same thing with OD. Everything was OD in the beginning with the O as the first letter because they saw the moon and the sun as a circle. So you have Orisha, Ogun, O this, Orisha, I mean Ifa. All these O word, Olarum, this all started in West Africa. So language started in West Africa with O being the first letter, then came IO and so forth. So with O, these people got traced now back to the where the O came back. And that's where Jamaicans come in the picture now. They say they came back into the picture with these same spirits because the OB came back as OBI. And so that's their science or whatever, but it was called Oduduwa and Obatella back then, which was the same science. So these people keep popping back up in time, and I'm explaining it to you more because it's not just them. You have the Jews, a whole bunch of different people, the Indians who have it too now under different names. So let me read this again so you understand that who the Atlanteans is. He goes on to say that in the West African fetish cults, for instance, are preserved some of the primal names of magical power that was carried over, integrated with Egyptian and Chaldean tradition at much later age. The pantheon of these primal cults are replete with names suggesting Enochian and Atlantean and even earlier rootage. Oduduwa, the supreme generics worshipped by the peoples of Yoruba, Dahomey, and Bini, and neighboring kingdoms, was undoubtedly the type name of the root of the most ancient deity known to man, later worshipped in the masculine form as OD, and then it switched to AD, and then later switched to HAD, had, then it got switched to Hadith, and then it got switched to Neith. And so he said the Chaldean form of it became Set, S-E-T. So OD is S-E-T. And he says similarly, it also became Olirum, O-L-I-O-R-U-M, or Olamadir. The all-powerful carries distinct Enochian echoes, while the name Oga, O-G-A, Ogo, Oga Ogo means the most glorious, is reminiscent of Argo, A-R-O-G-O-G-O-R-U-A-B-R-A-O. That's will pronounce R-O-Go-Go-R-U-Abara. And so this was the first form, I know this, of the word abracadabra. Now, this word, what does it say and what does it mean? Abracadabra. Because this is the West African version of abracadabra. And you can see it does look like abracadabra. The words start over here with the A-R, as you can see it up here, A-R-O-G-G-G-O-G-O, and it ends down here, Ru, Abra, Abara, Abara. So this would be your modern abracadabra. Okay? Now, what does this word mean? In the mighty satanic occasion that has been translated as thou spiritual son, S-U-N. So he's telling you this means doubt spiritual son. Let me pull it up. It's over here. Doubt spiritual son. Satan, doubt I. Okay. So, spiritual son now went from God. Back in the days, it was really Satan. So he says, thou I, thou lust, cry Allah, world of will, O my father, O Satan, O son. Both these deities, Olarum and Oga Ogo, are expressions of the ain, A-I-N, or what's called the I, or the void. As you can see, I'll say it again. You see how it says that both of these is called the ain, or the Ein Sof, the void, right? Which in the primal African cult was known as Elamai. This is important for you to get right here, this word, Elamai. Elamai, which you're going to get Aloysians from. The Aloysian field is the Ordic field. It's the elemental field. It's what we call ether, Elamai. This is going to become Elohim. This is El, Al. All of this comes from that, okay? So let's break this down. This is in this West African form. It was called Elamai, a name which was said to be incommunicatable. Later on, what's the word that these Jews said that they can't communicate? Well, back in Africa, they already had it first as Elamai, and that was the incommunicatable word. And it was equivalent, and as he says it right there, he tell you, I'm not going to tell you nothing. He says it was equivalent to El or Al. This is now your Satan becomes El or Al. Or Satan, the head god, now becomes El or Al. Continued in the Draconian cult as the most important, what we call them, El Shaddid, El Shaitan, the stellar deity. Okay, so it goes on now. Let me continue. The stellar deity worshipped by the Arabs, so and the Jews. So you see, this is the stellar deity that they say worshipped by the Arabs and the Jews. This now become, in our English later on, Elohim, A-L-E-M-I, Elamai, or Elohim, or what we see in the Bible, Elohim. And that's what he says, of our biblical law. Elohim of our biblical law. Now, these gods of cosmic power pour through the veil of Ain, the eye, the all-seeing eye, which has the human analogy of the Ajna chakra, the third eye. This now is where it comes out of. Now, the Ajna chakra concentrated in the first power zone, which is called Kether. This is also called Kether, as what we call Obatala, meaning king of the whiteness and the light, which was preserved in the occult tradition of the Tree of Life. One of the titles of Kether is the Whitehead. In African symbolism, whiteness represents spirit. You see, that's what we don't realize, because we get caught up in white and black. In Africa, West Africa, they was already worshiping white, but not like how we did when white people came. That's totally something different. White was inside of our tarot. We have the tarot in us, and white is the highest color, which is or out the crown, which now represent your pure spirit. You come. I could teach you the same system as in Kabbalah. This is the Kabbalah too. If you want, study the study course on Kabbalah. Just the first day, you will understand. He said you come down from a world you capped off, and once you came here, you start calcifying from demon, angel, all the different beings till you became a physical human being. But now cut off, you no longer know about this world no more. You forgot about this. It only appears and you only participate when you go to sleep, because your conscious mind is blocked. The program is blocked now, and you're able to free yourself up and go back up. But in your conscious self, you're what's called an ego. You trap yourself down here, you yourself with your dark ego. You got an ego that trap you. And so you're here to learn to release your ego. And so who got a hold on your ego? Your demions, your zodiacs. These are spirits that's controlled by the weather, the water, the moon, your emotions. And so you're here to release yourself from these things so you could actually go and pass. So with the third eye opening, let me finish reading this. During the celebration of the mysteries, the neophyte was plastered with white ash or clay to denote his transformation into a spirit and his ability thereafter to function in the world of spirits. White was therefore revered in the mystery as the holiest of hues. Obatala, as king of whiteness, was a transsexual deity. So now You get in here where in the Bible tell you you're neither man or woman, never either. You're both. You're androgynous being. Remember, if you're polarized, you have a right and left side, like a battery polarized, positive and negative. One would be male and one would be female. But if you're on the female side, you only will know you're female. If you're on the male side, you only know you're male. But if you're in the middle, you know you're conscious of both. It's a difference. This gives you psychic ability. But if you're not polarized and balanced, you're gonna be lost because this exists and you don't know this exists. And so when you see this and it exists, it's gonna fuck you up because you never knew about it. You understand? And it's gonna be a war between you two because you think it don't have nothing to do with you. It's not you, but it's you. Okay. All right, here we go. Now, Obatala was the chief goddess of. All right, let me finish. I'm up to Obatala as the king of whiteness was a transsexual deity. So now you get Pan. You get the story of Pan. But when whiteness later came to symbolize creative potency, and what he's referring to when he said whiteness became symbolizes the creative potency, they started using whiteness as the semen. This is when the Christians took over with the anointment started. They was using it in the temples of Mithras, in the temple of Bacchus, in Greeks and Romans. They started using semen, using sexual temples. They was using Tantra to ascend themselves to God. If, the latest person that you could study to do it was Osho. Osho was doing Tantra to ascend people, and it ascended them to their spirituality, as you can see. A lot of people do it now today through drugs. Drugs is the thing that's ascending people. They think they're using drugs, but they're not using drugs. They're seeking their spirituality, and it's only drugs that they can seek it through. Those is angelic being that is missing something. What they're missing is the same thing that they was missing when they was a child and had their little make-believe friend or whatever the case may be. So they seek it through drugs now. There's great stories on it you could read on YouTube. Just study psychedelics, and any scientist, TED Talk have a whole bunch of stuff where all the scientists get on there and break down spirituality and psychedelics and DMT. That's what they was trying to do, activate themselves. And so it was an era everybody went through. That was our evolving to get to the crystal baby, to the star seeds that we are now. So that's part of the process because we were so programmed, we had to find a way to get out and actually connect to the spiritual world. And that was the big movement that took place. So this right here is basically Tantra 101, the basics of Tantra, because Tantra started off in West Africa, and you're learning what's going on, these forces that you can't see. What are they? What these gods mean? What are they? And so you're learning them. So it tells you now, but when whiteness later came to symbolize creative potency as the white semen, Obatala then became equivalent to the masculine component of the deity. So this is where you get now where Obatala will represent God, because God, we see him as a masculine. Why we see God masculine? You don't know why. You was programmed that way. Out of anything, why wouldn't you have been a woman? Because you come out of a woman, but no, you put your own into a man. So you see, when we say God, man, that's why, because we was programmed like this a long time ago, because it wasn't like that before. So it says, he is the African logos, and it is the work of Obatala to form the child in the womb. He is feminine aspect. Oduduwa is the chief goddess of the African pantheon. This is Oduduwa. Her name means the black one. This is important for you to understand, Oduduwa being called the black one. Because by the time this information got to Kemet, it got twisted up already now, and they're calling it the Black Land. The Black Land. That never made sense. Because if you're from Kemet, you didn't see a white land to say this is the Black Land. So you wouldn't have said that. That's bullshit. So when they be like, Kemet mean the Black Land, no, it don't mean the Black Land. It's actually coming from Oduduwa, which is called the Black One, like Isis is called the Black One. That's still Isis Oduduwa. And so Isis is also called Ptah, which would have meant the Black Man or the Black Land. So an alternative name of Oduduwa is called Agba. Oduduwa, the feminine, is called Iya. That's Enki. Agba, as in Papa Legba. Let you see the spelling here and the word. It says Odudwa is Ia Alegba. So Ia, not just is Enki, it's also Isis, Isa. Isa is also Jesus, Egba, which means the mother whom receives. And an exact equivalent of the Kabbalistic word Bina, the third Sephiroth of the Tree of Life. Obatala and Odudwa, the white and the black, were in the beginning locked in the copulation and hermetically sealed in the bottle gourd. Obatala in the lid is the head, and Odudwa the bottom of the bottle, which is engulfed in great sea and enveloped in the profound darkness. The primordial gulf location of the tree of life as the abyss between Chikman and Bina. Obatala represent all spiritual things. Odudwa, all infernal things. Obatala is the mind. Odudwa is matter. Obatala is heaven. Odudwa is hell. These concepts are implicit in the whitening ground. No, in the heaven and hell. Whitening ground, which provide with a cover, a veil, and the sacred temples of the mysteries. These twin deities are actually one God. And this is important for you to realize. Although we just did all of that, it didn't make no sense because that's the truth. And I wanted to bring you back to that so that you understand that everything inside of you, like you have a whole bunch of gods inside of you, is what the point is of saying. So you polarize to see a bunch of gods. Look at yourself as a left hand and a right hand, two-sided you. But it's only one you. All right, so if you was able to body double and break your two sides off, you have a positive and a negative, a male and a female. But when they come together, it's you. So I hope you understand this is not an out of ordinary concept. You got to understand who you are. You understand? Now, how I started to get these concepts and I got the download was through clouds. Because you look at the first thing you see, let's say a cloud is shaped like Frosty the Snowman. But when you look in the cloud, you're going to see little beings inside the clouds. You see a whole bunch of other things inside the cloud. Sometimes we don't even notice the big Frosty the Snowman cloud. We looking in the cloud and like, oh, yo, look at that little duck over there. Oh, you see that little person over there? And not realizing when you look back, it's a big fucking snowman until you look back. That's your body. That's how the gods work. That's how the universe works. You're still in something that if you take a bigger look and go back, you'll see more of what you're in. And so that's the concept. So you get to understand why, the two are one. Polarities, because you see one yin and yang symbol, but half is black, half is white. Half is electricity, half is magnetism. Okay, so now we got through this part. I don't think I have to tell you no more about it, but it all ties into actually now the sexual organs. Those sexual organs is what you're looking at when you're looking at Odudwa, and I will make it here make sense for you now, for you to understand it by showing you a bit of it back at this picture that we was looking at, which is the tree of life. Now, we was talking about how, let me see how big I could get it. I don't want to move it. Everything ties in now. You see, this will be equivalent. I want to make it so I could just read it for you right there. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay. Now that's saying Bina, the third Sephiroth, Obata, Odudwa, the white and the black becomes ethereal energy here. So over here is where ether is formed. Before that, this is Obatala up here. Remember, Obatala is up here, but he now polarizes himself as he comes down, with these being the abyss and different chambers going across. So this is one, but it start pinging itself to what we call this word animation, animations. I mean, emanations of one person. You all are emanation of the one that keeps going down and drop down into different powers, each power having a magnetic field energy to it, a vibratory frequency to it. All right, so let's run across here real quick. So now, when we said the initiation of the spirit, when they put on the ashes, you see it here. This is what he's doing in this here. This he's going through a neophyte, African neophyte, going through the initiation of becoming pure spirit. And we would think he's probably a African idiot or something that don't know what he's doing. But these is how they do it. All these people that have all this on their face, this is what they're doing. They're going through the initiation to become spirit, to be what we consider today, moving that, to be actually this. Spirit to us is represented as the dove now. This is what Obatala's representation became. So I'm putting you on so you have a history of it. Now, when we talk on Obatala, this is the concept. This is just a gargoyle on top of a building. But this is what you're looking at, or what we're referring to when you're saying an anthropomorphic being, right? And you're talking about what it is. This is, as you can say, I said, this is Set, Obatala, male, female, Oduduwa, Had, Neef, God of the Black, called one, female, Isis, the king of whiteness, Osiris, the transsexual god, Pan. This can be reflected in all Greek information. The god was called Pan. If you look at any picture of like gods and the first gods, they look like a goat. All of them got horns. They even got Moses with horns. Why is that? Let's look at something over here for you to understand something. This is a picture of who made human beings. This same goat-looking thing. Look, two human beings, right? I want you to pay very close attention to this because you don't understand what you're looking at. I'm going to break this down to you. This is your spine. Oduduwa, Obatala, Ida and Pingala, Isis and Osiris, connected your spine going down. This would be your vagina, the yoni. This is the energy that they're talking about, Elamar, Argon. It's an energy, not a person. But this is what it looked like, and it comes and it makes these two energies, magnet and electricity. We look at it just as somebody's on a potter's wheel forming people out of clay. That's not what this image is. This is the caduceus, tricked out. This is a caduceus. This whole system is a caduceus. And how do I know? It says it. If you pay attention, it's replicated over and over again in society. This, let me break it down to you so you could read for yourself how I get this conclusion. We're going to use Cahoon right here. You see this is Cahoon? This is him right here. And this is the representation. This is the caduceus. This is a tricked out caduceus right here that you can't make out if you don't understand these symbolism. But here's where I tell you, this represent this is to the learned man. This is the yoni. That's what this represent. That's all this represent is the yoni. Look, let me show you. This is the definitions now. I'm going to go to the Google definition. First, starting off by reading from here. I'm going to read this to you so you understand. You see the word cahoon? This is another word. Just like we got kahunas. The Italians say kahunas, cahoon. This has always been the name of the yoni. This is also Kali, called Kali, the yoni. That's Set, or Dudwa. It's a sexual energy called libido energy. It's not something that's physical that you're going to experience, but you have that side of you to sense that. It's like a hologram when you pick it up. So let me read this first to you. It says, the seed of the fire snake is the vulva, which is, as it were, the second of the trigam, as Kawan, Khwan, and the callus, K-A-L-A-S. Remember what we was reading about the callus? This eye also is Ayn, A-Y-I-N, the head eye, whose number 70 represent the material aspect of 7, the number of the primal goddess. Among other correspondents are the word Lil, L-I-L, meaning night, N-I-G-H-T. You see, a lot of us think Lil mean demon, because N, N or on is heaven. So Enlil would mean god of, demon of the heaven or whatever. So you see right here, Lil meaning night. This is what it means. So night comes before Neith and all that. This would have been the name of the god or goddess. All right, so let me read on, right? It says Lil meaning night. And there's 3 letters that we don't see much in society because they switched it around, which is SVD. SVD became 2 words. SVD became SET, but also the D, they put a D on the beginning, became DVD, which is your David. And so, meaning the secret. SVD means the secret. Also, a couch or seat. The god Set, a secret chest, a ark, a box, or sarcophagus, all of which invokes ideas of death and mystically life and death. Furthermore, in Al, the word Khabs, Khabs, is described as the name of my house, meaning that the star is the name of the abode of the fire snake. All right, so what's the fire snake? The fire snake is the yoni. Okay, let's look at it again. Let me show you so you understand. This is it right here again. As you see this image right here, I put the symbolism over them so you get to see. And this is what it says as far as in reference to what it is you're looking at. It says the Ida and Pingala nadis, the lunar and solar currents manifesting in the human body at the left and right branches of the ganglionical nerve structure. I read it again. Do you understand now what this is? This is the Ida and Pingala, the nadis, the lunar and solar current, 2 currents, the sun and the moon, in the human body as the left and right branches of the ganglionical nervous system. So, I just want you to understand, I'm not the one making this up. I'm just a person who could understand what the hell is going on here. Now, this is what the Egyptians' definition of Kahun is. I'm going to show you who Kahun. The same Kali, we're looking at the K and the KHM. This is Kahun. You see the word Kahun? Let's read that. Kahun is an ancient Egyptian god who was who was the god of the Nile Indian nation from Elephante, where he guarded the first cataract. Kahun represents appearance portrayed as a ram-headed man and holding scepter and ankh in his other hand. Sometimes he's also depicted as a bull-headed man at a potter's wheel. So we know that's Kahun right there. Now, being that we know that's Kahun, remember now, we have it as the energy as Koran. And then the same energy is also called Kali. It's also, let me find it again now. I'm going to read another one. K. K, the last letter in magic. Let's look up this. Check this out. It says, is the 11th letter. That's my number 11 anyway. Or of several major alphabets. It is attributed to the god Jupiter. And we're going to learn about Jupiter. I'm going to teach you about Jupiter today. Whose vehicle, the eagle, is symbolic of the magic power in its feminine aspect. It is the symbol of the gigantic power whose color is scarlet, the purple. You hear that? And who has affinity with Capricorn. That's my sign. Or Babylon. The special import of Capricorn, the goat, is revered by its attribute. In the Indian tradition to the goddess Kali, whose vehicle is blood. K is the KHN. Here we go. K is the KHN. See it right there? is the KH and or Koana symbolized by the tail or the, what does it says, everybody? Let me make it so that we can read the whole thing. KH or Koana symbolized by the tail, or what's this word? Vagina. What I told you? Vagina. Venerated in ancient Egypt as the source of the great magical power. Magic spelled with a K therefore indicates the precise nature of current which therein. All right. This is important because we don't realize if you don't have the right word, the right formula, you off by 1 degree, it's not going to work. I'm telling you why a lot of things work. That K is powerful and it's real. I'm not telling you this. It's how I track this down. Think about that. How would you know all of this? How did you? Because this didn't pop in my lap. How would I know this? Okay, think about that. Now, let's read some more about the K to end this off. Gifted with the clairvoyance. I'm going to show you so, you know, all this research could hit me up and we could work something out for this, you know. Gifted with clairvoyance, she sees into the past and into the future in certain core occults of the exclusively at the level of Muladhara chakra, that's your root chakra. The priestess, after concentrating on ojas in the palm of her left hand, arouses the fire snake and not taking it up the spine sees clairvoyantly with her womb. This she does during the time of catamania, when the astral forces are able to assume almost tangible form from the effluga emanation from her vaginal vibrations. Do you think I'm making this up now, man? The libido energy, if you study C.J. Jones, the libido energy, a woman could push that on you and fuck you up, make you think you're in love, spell you. That's all that's going on through lust. A lot of us is falling under the Kali energy. Everything in this world is Kali. It's sexual. That means anything outside of you is physical was made through Kali's energy. It's a sexual energy. It works through a feminine energy. Anything in the physical world created. That's the science right there. That's natural science I'm putting you on. I'm not teaching you something moral in this. I'm teaching you how things work. When you learn that, you put your morals in it. You learn your good, you learn your bad. You do what you think is right, you're going to learn. But for you to learn, it's no, you could say, radar in the truth. The truth is the truth. So I bring it to you raw without hoping you don't take this in no formal way, because I don't follow nothing. I'm just bringing you the truth. Okay, let's continue this. It says, the priestess, after concentrating ojas in the palm of her hand, arouses the fire snake, not taking up the spine, sees clairvoyantly with her womb. This she does during the time of catamania, when the astral forces are able to assume almost tangible form from the effluga emanating from her vaginal vibration. Crowley alludes to this phenomenon in his commentary on the word QOPH. QOPH for y'all in the Tree of Life is the Kalipop. You know, y'all probably hear Bobby Hammond talk about the Kalipop, or other people talk about the Kalipop. The Kalipop is the same as the Tree of Life, but backwards. That's your backside. You have on your back, it's called the Kalipop. On the front, it's called the Tree of Life, because this one face up. But over here, being that it's upside down, the nighttime is when you go through your demon stuff. You're in psychic stage. You're in spirit world. You're in soul world. And a lot of people do more robbing, stealing, killing, having sex, emotions, loving, caress, and happiness all take place at night. Kids is born at night. So under the Kalipop is where everything occurs. You learn your lessons in life under the Kalipop. Like I said, the day side of the tree is only for healing. The sun is the healing thing. It heals you. This heals your body. This back here heals your mind. That's how the two work. The Hebrew letter Kalipop represents the hysterical sealed womb at night. The womb sees things. In the glamour of psychology upset, while the sun lurks, the seed of the fire snake is the vulva, which is at where the second eye. It represented in the Chinese system by the trigram. Here we go again. Quran. Quran and the callus of the epigraph of this eye are represented by the trigram, also TUI. This eye is called Ain, whose number 70 represent the material aspect of the seven. So I already read this part from another one. So y'all get the concept now. Let me see. And you see, it's so funny. They're not going to ever avoid the K in these words. Look at this picture here. This is a Gnostic version of what's called. And you see how his name is Adam Kadmon. You see the K is still in it? And the Kadmon. So it's like they put these little symbols there on purpose because is they doing it? No, it's not them. That's just how it works. So now that we're all familiar with this Oric energy and how it's a part of us, let's now go into it with our ancestors and its effects and what was going on back there. For us to get it, this little sheet, I put many different books. One of them is The Cults of Africa, and I'm going to take you now into what's called, let me see, let me get it together real quick. Okay. This is from an Eclipse, Africa Volume 1 in North Africa. And I'm going to break down it. I need to read this to you so you get to understand a little bit about what was happening back there. You could call this also a little bit of Black history. What the hell? Before I start, I want to say this. Let me freestyle for a minute because too much reading is going to get rhetorical. I want to freestyle. Now, first of all, we don't know this, but this information is important. In what we call Asia, the whole Asia is what we're going to call Upper and Lower Egypt. The whole thing, Africa, everything. All right. What we consider now is Upper Egypt. It's not Upper Egypt no more, what they call Upper Egypt. What was called Upper Egypt today is called Ethiopia. Ethiopia is Upper Egypt. There's no Upper Egypt now because it's called Ethiopia. What's called Lower Egypt, where the pyramids is at, is really Lower Egypt. When I say Lower Egypt, meaning that it was only low-class people there. Those people that you're seeing that built pyramids is low-class people, and the people of Upper Egypt was high-class people. One buried underground, such as the Valley of the Tombs, one buried on top of the ground for egotistical reasons, thinking they could get to something. The ones who buried underground kept the secrets. They're the parents of Lower Egypt. They didn't give them all the science. They've been trying to get it, but never understood it. So Egypt itself, that's why it's called Lower Egypt, and it has a real meaning. And it's more Hebrews. There was no Egyptians there, as you say. It got overtaken a long time ago, first by the Persians. When the Persians took over, they displaced the Egyptians, the real Negroes, and they displaced the information, the knowledge, the language that was gone. There's no way it could be ever brought back. And they put these people there that was from Persia. These Persians became called the Hebrews because they was crossover. They also started intermingling with the indigenous people of the Nile, which cross across genetic. The cross genetics is where you get the crossover people. What the word Hebrew means, crossover, cross gene. First under Akhenaten. Akhenaten is the one that was the curator of these cross-gene people as Ashkenazis. Ashkenazi Jews and the other groups, it was two groups, a black group and a mixed group. The mixed group was the Jews, and the other one was some black Jews, the real black Jews, which has been destroyed by the Ashkenazis and taken out of history, and they took their place now today. And so the lower part of Egypt don't have black information. That's Hebrew information. Hebrew clothes is in there. Egyptians don't wear clothes on the top. They only wear pants down. Anybody with clothes on the top is Hebrew. That's not an Egyptian. Egyptians don't wear, they know better than that. They're high beings. High beings know no clothes. Cells. If you look how the Arabs took over Spain, They took Spain from the Europeans, the Arabs. That's why it was a Muslim territory, and everybody over there spoke what? The indigenous language of the earth, what Negroes spoke. If you didn't know what Negroes spoke, Negroes spoke Latin. It's called Lydia. It's called Libya, where it was called Niger. That's the new name. Libya spoke Latin. They passed it on to the Romans. The Romans and the Greeks did their own conversion. You know, they ain't gonna change it exactly, but the indigenous language of the earth is Latin. I just want you to know that because nobody knew that. And that comes from the earlier language of what's called demotic, demon language. Everybody was demon first, and they became human as you are now evolving and becoming more conscious of not our lower desires, our higher self. We're going more to our neocortex mind, but you still got here people running concurrently that's still savage, barbarian, and civilized, all living together here. And if you don't know right now until you spend time with them, you'll see the different concurrency of time running in a savage person, the way they think and act, and then a barbarian person, you always see them, they fighting and getting into shit, and the civilized who sees all of that and avoid all of that. So you got all this running depending on which part of your brain is working between the neocortex, the reptilian, or the primal fascie, with blood being the key thing. A lot of people who work out and is muscular, they're in their reptilian brain, fight or flight, so they're not very articulate with themselves, much less could please a woman or do everything, because their blood is concentrated only in their arms and legs, because their body is trained psychologically, because they're lifting weights to think they're going to fight. You understand? When you start doing that, you come unnatural. You never see a Buddha master, a Kung Fu master, anybody look all cocky or muscular. Only the student until he become a master. So you get to understand. You have to have good circulation, especially up to your brain or blood, for you to do a lot of things. With you having good circulation of blood, you get proteins that actually is the cause of your DNAs to flaps to open and close through perception. So if you ain't getting what I'm saying, you could have lack of oxygen to your brain, because if you're getting what I'm saying, these is activating your DNA right now. You're having DNA proteins unlocked, your codons, through perception. This is what's called epigenetics. So let's get back into now highly sensitive persons and the topic at matter. For us to understand these things, your basic person that is sensitive to all types of energies, all types of situation of people, is actually people who's going through what's called oetic energy exchange. It's here in the atmosphere, always been here, and it's just being rediscovered now. We got many names for it. It's argon energy. You know, the Greeks called it ethereal energy, and they work together. It's electric and magnetic energy that human beings emit from their body, and it actually connects you on a subatomic level to another world you come from, that you experience when you're dreaming. You go back to that subatomic world. In this form, you would say then you're millions of people if you take yourself and break yourself down into subatomic levels of yourself. And so that's what we got going on. And these things is coming on to us in this Aquarian age, is heavy, dense vapors, you could say, onto us, that we could literally see, feel, and perceive other beings, other parts of ourselves, us in other parts. And so to learn now, what does this mean? What is the significance of this? Is to first understand what an HSP is, and they're bettering themselves as they spend a little bit of time on this earth right here, understanding themselves instead of living a miserable life. Plus, they're healers. All these HSP peoples are what's called magnetic healers. They got this thing called a push. You could push energy, magnetics. I think I was doing it with one of my YouTubers, you know, Chris Starr. I don't know, remember if it was you. We had did a little quick magnetic push with the hands, and he could feel it through the video chat real quick. But so we could do what we call passes to each other for healing. You could do passes that a person could get nutrients from you. They could even, you could eat something and pass it on to somebody as a pass. All these is available to you if you learn this science of the Odic energy and the magnetic field. I would do recommend you to read that book. Reichenbach wrote out his experiments, and it's available for anybody who want to look into it. Why I tell you to look into it is because he goes slowly into the details of human being, from people who like cold to hot to water to this, and break down why you do it. And everybody needs to understand themselves, because we're all under different levels. No two person is the same, with the highly sensitive people being the most, angelic beings, or the most, he called them, higher. Actually, like he said, there's people actually that is superior to other people here. It's real. And he's not the only one. It's this guy that I'm reading. This is a French guy that existed at the time when Egypt was still, and he speak of these highly sensitive people, and he's one of them too, because he could just he's sitting in the ruins of Egypt, and he could see everything as it took place as he write our book. And this is a great scientist too, but they was more connected to the Odic energy, the energy that religion got us scared of, and us to transform to our higher self. We ourselves is afraid of through attachments. We don't want to let go to experience the soul for a while and then come back. So these things will help you realize that it's here, and our journey we have to take to actually um, evolve. Why I say evolve is because it's like you're a seed, and I'm pretty sure the seed never met the tree that it's going to come out of it, and the tree didn't know there was a seed because it broke the seed. But those two things are one. So inside of you, you're the seed. There's a God in you. There's beings in you. There's another you called the genius. On ancient time, that was the word. And every household was a genius, because you had to evolve and go through the whole ascension process to be the head of the household. Head of the household doesn't mean you're the man and you could go out and be a fucking servant. Being the head of the household meant to be the genius, the educated man, the smart man that could understand everything. And so this genius has been gone because nobody's going through the initiation. Egyptians is gone, the ancient way is gone, and so we don't know what to do no more. Well, over time I'm going to be explaining more, and once you get an idea of what's going to happen, you can't stop it. It is what it is. You will participate and progress your life, make your life better, and be a progressive, positive person in society, regardless of what's going on around you. It don't have no influence on you. It's who you are as a person. So, this will give you a greater understanding of everything. With it now, I'm going to line it up with the empathism. Empathism is the product of HSP. These is like different levels of actually your magnetic field being lifted off to give you the etheric energy, the organ energy. Let me see if my thing could pull up. I don't know if I ever show you how these energies enter your body. So there's a great book, if you want to see how it looked. And this is by, give me a second. It's by Montauk Tree, I wrote that one. And he give you a great picture of how the energy comes into the sexual organ in its different forms. So let me see if I could pull it up for you, just to give you an image of what you're going to be going through. Now, it's a lot I could share. I'm noticing this now. It's like I got the twin flame course here, and it's funny, we need to go over that because we all lost on this. And it's kind of discouraging for a lot of people, because we was taught a pseudo way of looking at life. And so when we chase these dreams, later on we get our heart broken and destroyed because that's not what we wanted, or they sold us a dream and we bought into it. So, it's kind of hard for you to grasp these concepts. That's why they separate themselves from us. And you have the upper class and you have the middle class and this class. And I'm not saying as far as how society see it. I'm talking about as far as how the Egyptians saw it. They never mingled with the mundane, what they call them. All right, I found a picture. I'm going to give you an example. This is your body. The energy comes in through here. Hold on. Is that my autofocus, or is it like they just put it up? Oh, I did that. Okay. 1 second. Let me just show you this time this off. All right. This is called the principal energy down here, or what we call Qing energy. Now, Qing energy at the belly button, it turns to Qi energy, but you see the energy come from your vagina. All energy, life force come from there. For a man, it's a scrotum, same thing. And up here, it turns to organ energy. Organ energy is Qi energy. But up here, it turns to a different energy. It's called Shen energy. As it get up to your head, it does another energy. This is where you get the old Odic energy right here. And you see it got a way of coming up. It circulates from the bottom and comes up. So I want you to understand that I'm not making this up. This is by, see, and he words it right there. We are all born with an abundance of these energies. Called the principal energy or Qing. You understand? And so that you get to see where the world is headed, because we're going into spirituality, the world is going to be hitting you with placebo science in a whole bunch of different ways. If you want to get into that, this is the book, Healing Love Through the Tail, Cultivating Sexual Energy, the Female Sexual Energy. So, so you understand what's going on. These is lifesavers, because the energy is giving you back your life. It actually rejuvenates you and keep you young. So I'm going to leave this information on that note. We could continue this for hours, but I know I got things I got to do, and we're going to meet up again tomorrow. I'm back on. I finished a whole bunch of abstinence, a whole bunch of meditations, and I got a lot to share with y'all. So I'm going to make sense. What's the difference between abstinence and having sex? What are we experiencing? What's the big benefit of it? Well, stay tuned. I'm going to explain it all to you, because I just did a long abstinence. I mean, with this abstinence, I don't engage in sex, but what I'm saying is this abstinence was away from women, period. No interaction with women, period. What I think I did, almost 3 months. I'll explain it to you. What's the difference? I got a good example of it now. So stay tuned. Let me see. Florida seems to have a lot of old trees and farmland through our 70s then, but there's not close to the house. Most looks dry with disease. Yeah, it's funny. It's things going on. Yo, my man Chris Anderson, that is. Yo, he sent me a video of a tree that no other tree is smoking, but this one tree, smoke is coming from the tree. It fucked me up. I'm looking like, what the hell? Yes, some weird stuff going on with the gods. The trees have a lot to do with it. Peace and love, Raven. Chris, yeah, just got to get the algorithms up to the chaos beings. Greeting, rising lilies. Yes, you know what? Well, one of the important things is to realize that even though we see Christ and we don't believe in it, the truth is we have those abilities. If you don't want to believe in Christ, that's fine. I don't really know. I can't prove it, so I can't. That's not the topic. The topic is what he was doing. Was that real? Could that be done? Well, it could be done. And it's being done right now, and this is the age for it. And you got to learn magnetic healing. If you don't learn magnetic healing in the future, things is going to get worse for you, because your body is getting too used to these medicines. And y'all got to find another way, and it's through spiritual healing. This magnetic healing, it's a force that works through heat and cold, electricity and magnetism, something that only your body could produce, and you actually help each other. So you got to know that, and I want you to be geared towards that, even believing in it before you could do it. And as you grow into your gifts, you'll see it's there. Well, my parents are nothing more than the humans that brought me here in my spaceship. Kahija, the Critus, that's right, but don't look at it like that. You see, you got to be careful with this knowledge. You don't want to look at it in the wrong way. And I probably don't, I know you probably don't take it like that. You sound like a good person that knows good. So when you don't have no parents, but even though you came out and you was educated to think you have parents, but you don't because you're a being and you always was. Like I told y'all before, as a soul, if you was this, then who was you in your past life? What's that image? Which one are you? So we can't judge images. So you coming in out of a womb will just give you a form, a look, an image. But as a soul that's emanating that image, that been there for a while. So respect to the parents still, but don't connect yourself psychologically. Don't make them do what's called empathic blending. Empathic blending programs your neuron. You're a recorder. Every human being is a recorder. Even when you're sleeping, you're recording external information. If you was knocked out in a car accident, you're still recording external information, meaning you know everything that's going on with you, even though you're not conscious. It's normal. And under hypnosis, they could pull it back out of you because you are a recorder. So knowing that, when you let people, what we call empathic blending, share their views with you, share their space, be kind of so opinionated that you accept it, you become nurturing towards information that is not unique to you, you actually start conforming, morphing into that person. When this morphing happens, this is called neuroplasticity. And what occurs with the neuroplasticity morphing make two of the same people that don't like to see you. You don't want to see another you. So when two of the same is created, or two people start to vibrate at almost the same frequency, war, problem break out. So the first thing that happened with a child turning 17 is that they want to leave their house, get away from their parents, either because the empathic blending is becoming now programming where they actually becoming the parent, and the individuality now in the child is coming up, and that becomes the beast that challenges the parent and go, hey, give me a minute, no. And not you hate your parents, even though you might be like, I hate them, I can't stand them. No, you want your individuality now. You need your space. You're done. They finished. Now you're ready to march up the world and express it how you express it. So this has been proven by C.J. Jones. So our discrepancies within the family unit is not because we hate each other or because we're, tired of each other. It's we're morphing into each other too much, and your individual self come out and repulse against it, fight against it to give you your own God self back, your individuality. So that's why this happens in the household. But our natural parents is not conscious. I don't think most of us are. So we tend to push our views onto our kids, tell them what to do. You can't tell nobody what to do. You're programming them. And over a while, they're going to hate you because they're not hating you. They see they self too much, which is not you. You made them you. You understand? So now it's like it's a conflict of interest between the energies. So I just want you to understand these things instead of warring with your family members, and just separate from them for a while and get your individuality back, and your feelings and emotions and demeanor go away from feeling towards that person like that. Because it's a natural default that God's made inside of us to retain our individuality. It's not, when we're going back home, we're going to vibrate at false frequencies, and we're going to come into these worlds that we don't belong in, worlds of animals and plants. That's not where we're from. But we share a world with animals just like we share a world with plants. When you're in the astral world, you're in the world with animals. You're not in the heaven world. You're not in where humans are supposed to be at. You're in the universal world of animals. That's what it is. Emotions is animal-based. It's not a human attribute. So unless you want to learn how to stay where you at, you have to learn to evolve to the being you're going to be. And the true being is what's called the stellar man, the cosmic God, who can handle any situation. Egyptians was called the knowers because they knew everything. They didn't have no problems. And you're a knower too, but you have to tap into your knowing. And this is what I mean. Doesn't demon equal melanin? Yeah, Naga, so like you could say demon is melanin. And but this is psychology too. Let me go back to that. Let's break that down real quick. When you're talking about demon work like this. They're here, they're air. They educate you to think air is air. Back in the days, Egyptian, Chaldean, Babylon, let you know air is Typhon. That's what air was called, Typhon. Typhon is the dragon. So air is the dragon. You understand? Now in the dragon is many beings. And so when you talking now, these different beings that's in here, you looking at how you grow. You think you grow? You don't grow. You don't grow. A tree don't grow. Let's go to the basics, man. I forgot about this. It's been a long time since I said this, because this is a fact. You know who grow you? Fairies grow you. God gave them a job. Nature gave them a job. What do you think they do? They just sit around and play with their balls all day? No, they grow whatever tree they're assigned to. Like you have beings that's assigned you that change you every day. Well, look at a little baby, and then look at a boy going through puberty, then look at him in a man. That's three different people. That's not one person. You understand? He only know himself in the moment. He never knows these changes took place. But these beings come down on you and assume these forms that make you you. But you don't understand this. When you go to sleep, when we in sleep paralysis, we seeing the being that come and swap you out. Swap out your toes, swap out your fingers, swap out your legs. These is beings. These is not you. You're a bunch of beings. Every part of your body is a single part, and it got a being to it. And so these beings now activate through cells. They're electronic, digital. What is a cell? You have to learn that. Don't you have these funny things floating around in your eyes called floaters? You ever study what floaters is? Don't they? They're the same thing as your skin. There's things going on that we don't fully understand yet. There is more to you as a being that's evolving. You're not your full prime yet. And so hopefully you understand these and will want to evolve. But these is the steps that you will have to first break your perception to understand this reality and what's going on. You understand? So um, that's pretty much the connection. Now let me add on to that with the melanin and demons. How this works, right, is because demons are psychic. You understand? Um, Everything is psychic. Everything is psychic. And if you don't understand that first, you're going to realize when the real side of you come, the God side, when we look in biblical, and all that stuff is inside of you, but you block from it because you don't activate psychic, because then you're not conscious. When you become conscious, it becomes biblical, not because it's biblical. It's because you're going to see these beings that you see and hear about in these biblical stories. All of a sudden, it's going to pop up in front of your face. So now you like, what the hell is this? This have a biblical overtone. It has an Egyptian overtone and an Anunnaki overtone. All the different epochs of life is inside of you, stored in your subconscious. So you would have to learn these things. Like right here, we looking. This is. I just pulled this up to show you. This is the. Let me see if I could get to the cover real quick. How far am I? This is the Llewellyn Complete Book of Growth and Transformation for Psychic Empowerment. And it's like an encyclopedia from chakras to everything, clairvoyance, colors of auras, you name the topic, it's in here. And these is what you're going to be available to you that wasn't available to you before once you get yourself activated. It's like you see stuff like Llewellyn become popular because this right here, it's like a breakdown and give you just a general understanding of you. And as much as he covers many topics in here, it's only one activation, and it leads to all these different things, all these different worlds that is available to you now. And so when we talk in demons, they're here to take you to heaven. Believe it or not, that's their only job, to take you to heaven. That's your savior. That's the one who's going to take you past the moon. Only demons can take you past the moon. That's their job. Once you become conscious and you're aware of everything, only ones who could cloak your light is a demon. You have to ride by them to get over to the moon. They work with gods. And the only way you're going to do it is to get to the head person that's over that sphere of the moon. It's the next sphere up that's going to send them down to come and get you. Now, so you can't do it by yourself because you're a ball of light that is visible in darkness. Like if you sit in darkness for 2 hours and just leave let's say, a sneaker there. Leave your sneaker or a cup of water in darkness or crystal. After 2 hours, you will see Oric energy. You will see light just lighting up out the crystal. Lights are coming today. It's a very sensitive light that take your eyes a long time to perceive, but you could do it by just spending a lot of time in darkness. So this is all available to us, but we don't know none of this stuff because we never self-activated or got into these things. So when you're talking dumb, their first connection with you is psychic. And so when the 2012 movement came and everybody awoken, it was their demion, the Anunnakis came into them. That's what we call the Anunnakis. The Anunnakis are demions. And so with them, people perception awoken. They became what's called the genius. That's the genius. And so with you becoming the genius now, it gives you a whole bunch of perception and download. But it don't run concurrently. What I'm going to do is not what you're going to do. If it could affect me and I could be a great philosopher and make me a better philosopher. It could affect you and make you evil. It could make you a cunning person. It could make you a great lover. That's about it. It affects a body and complements the person that they are already. So if you're a fucked up person, it's going to make you more fucked up. It's not going to make you better. It's just going to, it's when they say the Holy Spirit come down on you, the Philosopher's Stone, the elixir, that's what this means, that you activate it. And so people like Shakespeare, Beacon, all these people is talking about the demion world. Macbeth, all that stuff is about those worlds. They're telling you about another world. They're not telling you about Dr. Faust, mesmerism. You got to realize they playing with people's heads when they write these things, but they're about the other world, those beings. You hear Aleister Crowley telling you about a whole nother world. People call themselves the beast and Iwa. This is a world. This is not just something you see, and it's another world available to you. Illuminati's not in this world no more. It's no more Illuminati. They've been left. Their bodies is they probably laid up like an avatar in a cocoon type state while they're in the other world. Nobody's in this world no more. That's why you don't see nobody participating in much here. You don't hear nothing about nobody. Everybody's gone to the other side and making movies about it, putting it on Netflix for us to see. That's really what's going on. But we can't tap in because we don't want to tap in. Nobody's blocking nobody. We don't want to tap in. We're scared. We're the last of the peoples here that don't want to ascend. So you have to learn this, want this, and don't be afraid, because I could be like, yeah, I'll show you. But to be honest, you're going to be afraid. You know you're going to be afraid. Think about it. Yo, I don't know if I can see this for the rest of my life. Yo, you saying I can't turn it off? Yo, you saying this is what it is? Oh, let me think about it. Yo, I got my kids. Yo, I got these things. Everything changes. So until you're ready to put down your possessions and pick up your cross and make that crossover, you're not really ready. And so your consciousness know that, your soul know that. So it don't activate you, just let you be until you're ready. When you're ready and you try it, and your master will come, your teacher will come. That's the truth. That's how it works. You understand? But as long as you don't, you want to follow YouTube information, feed your ego, say black people are stronger and better. It doesn't matter your color. That's what they want you to see, your race. They want you to see your nationality. As long as you don't see your soul, they got your soul. You understand? They don't want you to see your soul. So you got to understand what's going on. So the demion is being melanin and the protector of everything. It was called Metatron. Metatron is the demion too. Is your melanin, and the one who's coming to get you is the Spider-Man suit. You understand? But if you didn't activate it, it's not active. Do you feel funny feelings on you? I get this feeling right here on this arm every time something is gonna happen. They just cringe up. Oh man, my arms, my whole body move by itself. I get out my body. When I meditate, I get out my body. I don't have no control over my body no more. It does what it does, and it does ancient stuff that I can't even, I don't have to duplicate because it's too much for me. But yeah, you're not supposed to control your body. It's a demion. It belongs to aliens, you could say. The stars and the planets, they have control over your emotions, your body. You have to be the consciousness in it. You understand? That's what Buddha and all these people try to come and teach you, that these demions is real. And so the greatest part of it is the sensation. Impulse is a vibration of sensation upon you. So, yo, what's going on? Yo, what's up? You all lost, and you took your money. You bought all the drinks at the club. You did everything. Then you go home, you scratch your head like, what the fuck just happened? What I do? It's the influence of the sensation pushing up on your melanin. We're reactors. We react to anything. We waiting to hear something. That part being so intensified, we're quick to jump at anything we hear. We overzealous. We very, I don't know. It's like, I wouldn't say insecure, but we're quick to just make a quick jump. Optimistic. We're very optimistic. And that makes our problem. So when I mean optimistic, it's like it happened before, then I'll be like, yo, you'll be like, yeah, I told you. I'm like, damn, I didn't even say it yet. But that's how we are. So the sensation of the melanin is very tricky. It works for you, but you have to be the sage, the master, the wizard that control your melanin. You can't let your melanin control you. All of us is being controlled by our melanin. We're not in control of our melanin. You understand? If you was, you'll sense everything before it happens. You'll sense a person before they come. You'll sense when your kids is going to do something. Your sense of sensing will be so keen, everybody will hate you because you'll know everything before it's going to happen. So get your melanin demion together then, Naga Olmec, and become one with it by separating yourself from it. It's its own being. It don't feed off of food. It feed off of light. You understand? Your body feed off of light. It don't feed off of food. If you want to experience your body, Dr. Sebi showed everybody. He put them on a fast. Once you get to a certain level, all of a sudden you're going to have premonitions and visions. You understand? That's what we're missing because we got too much food in us. Your body is thinking about the next meal. You put your body on drugs. When you feed your body, and it's on a consistent basis, your body just is telling you, I'm ready for lunch. What's up for dinner? What we having? You gotta fast. When you fast, that shit don't talk. That shit don't have a voice. And then you got nothing to look forward to than to produce its own chemicals that it got in its body. You want a burger? Make a burger in your body. When you start doing that, then you'll see what the body could do. You feel your intestine moving. You feel your liver moving. Everything starts shifting. Things start doing stuff in there. Everything is alive. But as long as you're bombarding it with chemicals, it's dead in there. It's busy trying to push off all that stuff and get it out so it can be free. It makes its own alchemical. That's called the works is called the works, or the chemical factory. Your body is a chemical factory. Those that practice alchemy, you notice they skinny, Jesus looking ass people all shriveled up. They don't drink water. The sun's done suck them up, but they spiritual. That's spirit. Khadija Malis, you didn't agree. It's all good. I could explain more if you ask me and help you make better understandings, but you just don't understand from the way I'm expressing it. Naga Alma, you won't always agree with everything. Just listen. That's a true thing. That's a truth. I think I'm a demion. We all demions. Naga, that's what I'm trying to tell you. You're here to activate your Devi. This is Sanskrit. Sanskrit. All right, let me break it down to you. A photon of light is a demion. What a demion is a light, a ray of light. A demon is a ray of light. What's called a phonon. And it's what's called a logo. If you ever look at it, it's just a circle with a bezel around it. Same like a star when you take a picture. And it's flashing mad different images on the inside. This is what your basic cell is on your body. You're a bunch of demions. They connect back to the light, and they all fiber optically connected to you. You're not in something that you think you could free yourself from the light. You're part of the light, and you travel through the phonon. But they're the Devis that stands in the circle. Any Sanskrit circle that you see a circle with a being in it, even in Ahura Mazda, you see him in the circle. You see the God in the sun, the halo. That symbol represents a photon, a light, or a logo. It's called the solar logo, a sunlight, which is just a circle or a chakra. That's what a chakra is. A chakra is a demon. A chakra is a light. There's quadrillion chakras. You got a quadrillion chakras to your self to learn from. Every photon of light you collect is actually giving you the intelligence of that dimension, that demion that you are. You're a Devi. So you want to not be whatever you think you are. You want to get back to being a Devi again. Read the book on Taoism. That's what Taoism is about. Tell you you're not you. You're nobody. You're a spirit. Any book you read on spirituality is to tell you you're not you. You're a demi. I mean, you're a demion. You want to use the Christian version of it, it just sounds kind of foolish to say you're a demon, but that's the truth. You're a Agos Damien, you're a Devi, you're here to activate. What do you think happens when your Kundalini go up and it hits your pituitary gland and it activates your pineal gland? What do you think you become? You become this thing called the genius or the Devi. Everybody who's had intelligence, every scientist was one. Tesla's one. Everybody's a Devi. And that's what they did. They learned it through Sanskrit. Everybody learned it. So I'm putting you on. And it's basically what you do when you go do yoga. When you meditate, you activating your Devi, your higher self. What do you think your higher self is? Is your Devi, your demon. Your demon. It's only a demon could take you out of this world. They're higher than human beings. Whoever you are, though, you can't change that. Don't get it twisted by you assuming your demon self that you're either going to be the angelic demon or how we were saying benevolent or benevolent. It's who you are. You're still the ego in the Devi. You're the ego. So the ego runs the Devi until you get rid of the ego, and then the Devi is pure, and the Devi take you up into the spirit world. But when you first assume you're Devi, you like how to train a dragon, because you're in something that give you powers. The Demion is quiet. You don't know. You just know you got a purple aura and you have influence over everybody. This is your genius and you're just smart as fuck and know everything. Plus you probably could do everything. But now, this is going to make you more egotistical. So you're going to start doing things. Girls, one thing to do is make you good looking to people or handsome or beautiful to men. And so we use that now to get niggas. Girl walk in the room and she just posed. Boom. Everybody like, everybody's scheming on her. She knows she's got everybody fucked up in the room. So it's all what it do to you. Some people is humble and they in the corner even though they fine as fuck. You just open their coat and they take a look, they got a hat on, you be like, damn. You understand? And there's some people who just want attention. So training your dragon and becoming the demon or demion, it's a big task because your ego is going to kick in and you're your ego. You can't get rid of your ego, but you could train your ego and take out your splits in your ego. Your ego is pure and it's humble, it's righteous. But your splits make your ego a protector that it actually take in your fear. Like say, if something scares you, it holds your fear for you. If you was to experience something that scared you, boom, and you go, ah, you keep going, ah, forever. This is an algorithm. This is a program. So you was designed with an ego that snatch it. Boom. You go, ah, oh, it's you. You saw what I just did? What happened to the ah? Why I didn't keep going? Your ego took it. Your ego hold all your fears, all your repressions, all the stuff you can't take. If a person come big, bad, and he's going to beat you down, and he tell you, I'm going to beat you down, there's nothing you can do about it. At 2 o'clock, and I'll be back. And you're in a little corner trapped, and you couldn't do anything about it. And you sat there and said, yo, it's almost 2 o'clock, and he's going to beat me down at 2 o'clock. At 2 o'clock, you're going to leave your body. And the altered person is going to come in there and take the beat down, not you. And then your ego going to take it back and put you back. Now, let a second person come to beat you down. It ain't going to work. That person's going to come back now. And he remembered that last person that did that to me. He's going to pop off before they even go there because he's already trained from that one. But you couldn't do that. So you have something in you that's trained under certain circumstances to do some crazy things, but you never had those experiences to activate it under those circumstances. These are instincts that you have naturally. The basic instincts is to go to the store, go to work, and come home. So you got mad instincts that if you was back in your indigenous place, you would have been able to tap in. But under circumstances of modern times, you ain't going to be able to tap in. Just going to work, come home. You get where I'm going with this? So we have to alternate now to a new way of getting those instincts, those experiences, those activation back through nature. Just meditations, crystals, firework, energy work. Staring at fires, do it. Staring at water, staring at clouds, staring at anything natural, do it. Those activate you. Anything unnatural, put you to sleep. Okay. I'm listening, but I have rights to say. What about when you're born with your third eye open? I've been seeing and being able to heal since a small child. Khadija Mediska, that's good. That's why you know, if you're able to continue it, it's like everybody's born with it, first of all. And everybody's with angelic beings until their program kicks in. This is when your parents tell you to cut this and you start going to school. And when you don't see it no more. I think I was seeing it up to like 6 years old. Then it came back like around 10, 11. Then it came back like when I was in my early 20s. It kept coming where it didn't totally disappear from me, but I couldn't understand it for a while. But when it wasn't around, I knew I was missing something. And I could explain it to you in detail now, but back then I didn't know what I was missing. I knew I was missing something. But what was occurring when I was little, I could tell you what kids go through. Everything in the Oric energy is alive. For me, it was from the light bulb to everything was alive. I could talk. Everything was there. But it was like a matrix over everything. And even though everything had a different form, it was still one person. The whole matrix was one person, but he assumed many different forms. And so that one was always with me. And when I became at 6, it used to only happen when I had fevers. When I get fevers, they say I hallucinate and see. But then as I started getting older, I started having spiritual attacks. And it was the same thing. I remembered it. And it wasn't spiritual attack. Then it started turning in my 30s into sleep paralysis. And it was the same thing I started to remember. And now they're just part of me. We're family. And I see them like I see you or the neighbor. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And so I got to bring this to the world because it's real. You understand? And don't think this is an icing on the cake. There's research, there's material, there's other people that's involved in this too. It's not just me. It's just, you ain't gonna get people to talk about stuff like this like I will talk about it, but I got the research for y'all. I got evidence. I got people, everything. There's nothing missing here. It's just over time you get to disclose everything. Okay, I have a question. I'm a cusp Gemini, Cancer, 23. My husband is a cusp of Sagittarius, Capricorn, 24 numerology. We are both life path 8, and we are the opposites. Yes, perfect. Y'all, Mary Starseed is made so perfect. It's unbelievable. I'm reading these numbers. How y'all align. All right, why y'all align? The opposites. Remember, everybody, you don't want somebody like you. Remember what I told you, when two of the same, they're going to hate each other. You need an opposite for you to cohabitate with them and live in peace. You don't want nobody like you. And the opposites, they say opposites attract. Let me break this down to you, because this is so simple. I love it. Gemini, right? You know Gemini is the twins. You also flow from, who's that? Cancer. You flow with Cancer. And so you're coming in from the bottom, where you're actually the the yellow energy, and you also part of the Oric South's energy. And so Capricorn is the north energy and it's the blue energy. And so both of y'all is aligned on the same path with the 23 and the 24. That speaks for itself. That would be odd and even, masculine and feminine, male and female. So y'all is a perfect alignment in nature, in the astral, and just being period. Everything with y'all. Gemini and Capricorn is one. You know, not saying they're one. They're like two pieces of a puzzle that's perfectly right here, and you snap them together and they make one piece. So y'all two is in perfect alignment. And always remember, partner with your opposite. You don't partner with your same. Vibe National, what's going on? How you doing? All right, how you grew up, what you experienced to make him be the way he is. Mastery, Mary Star, you have to take in consideration how he grew up and what he experienced to make him be the way he is. Well, Khadijah Medissus, this is what we call the unconscious or mundane. And when you experience these unconscious mundane, the environment plays a role in who they are. And when they are like that, we don't participate with them too much because they still haven't awakened. So you're talking about an unawakened person. Now, when they awaken, they don't fall under those experiences that make them who they are. They wake up to their soul. They're the soul self and only want one thing. And that is do unto others as others do unto them. And if you don't play like that, you're having problems with them. So that's how the game goes now. You know, you can't consider, he raped a child, or he did this, so you can't consider what people went through in the past with your future and compromise yourself to be with them because of what they went through. No, they got to go fix themselves and then return back to her, and then she'd be all right with a normal person. Which she's gonna go through what he's going through then, and that's not a normal thing to put somebody normal through something that somebody else had to experience. No, so you send them and dismiss them to go fix themselves. When they're ready to fix themselves and they fix, then they come back. If they never fix themselves, that's their destiny. He does not. He does have other signs in his house, so that also plays a part. You know, I'm gonna tell you like this. I'll be keeping up with the Zodiac, but I don't do all that. Don't. What's the truth is? I'm gonna put it like this. Your house is your macabre. Whoever you care about is in your macabre. Your macabre is an egg. You're in an egg, an Orphic egg. And this egg actually is an infinite in its dimension. It got unlimited stretching abilities. You can stretch it from 2 blocks around the corner to across the universe to other dimensions. And so now, when we're talking about what's in our house, our demeanor, how we act, what we're going through, our attitudes, it's only if you're under the influence of the Zodiac. The Zodiac is animals. You get it? And so they made them animals on purpose to show you that's when you're in your lower self. You're under the influence of stars, planets, the gods. But you're a man. You're higher than the gods. You're higher than all of that. And you're not supposed to be under the influence of the prediction of them. And so your job is to get from out of these houses. You're not really in their houses. That's an unconscious. That's all it means. When you're unconscious, you go read the Zodiac and everybody's Zodiac come true. Because everybody's unconscious. When you're conscious, you're not subject to the Zodiac no more. You make your life. Whatever you do is what you do. Now, as far as houses in your macabre, I'm going to tell you like this. What you care about is in your macabre. What you nosy about is in your macabre. What you desire is in your macabre. If you have these is going to hold you and ground you to the earth world, the material world. For you to make it, you can't have nothing in your macabre. Nothing in your house. Nothing in your house. Sometimes I hear and see things that others, things that others around me can't. Naga Omek, that's a fact. And you know what? Let me tell you, the more you try to hear things that others can't, the more you will hear these things. And it's good to tap into that. This is more getting into your psychicness, your sensory perception. When you tapping into this, you're balancing out that other side of yourself that I told you never knew about, and one day you're going to face. So I would encourage you to keep doing these. I will encourage everybody here, if you got a child, if you don't make your child sit for 15 minutes still for a day, your child will never know himself, and he can't live with himself. He's always going to be running around. Let me tell you, I had 2 daughters. One daughter played with toys. The other daughter played with the one who played with toys. One always wanted to be by herself and leave me alone, leave me. The other one was just the most annoyingest thing to the other one, and that I had to keep it like, yo, you don't play with toys. You could buy a million. She don't play. She play with you. She fuck with you. There's a lot of people out here like that. They don't touch things. They don't touch computers. They fuck with people. They gotta call people. They gotta interrupt what you're doing. That's how they is. That's just what they do. You understand what I'm saying? So the ones who do play with stuff and all that, they become the geniuses. The ones who have mad skills, the poets, the writers, and all that. The other one is gonna be the one with the ego, the one who try to dress up now and got 5 cars and everything, because they're gonna go play with more people. Okay. Now, is demonic energy always destructive? I never knew demonic energy to be destructive, vibes, rational. What has it destroyed? Let me know. Shadow beings and weird, pitchy vibes. Shadow beings is your true self. I don't know. A lot of us following more, not from experience, but what we was told. Your truest self, at this core of you, your shadow. You're a shadow. If you could get to your shadow, you're in your pure God state again. You came here as a shadow. That's what you are. If you look at the book of Psalms, it's called the book of dark sayings. And if you look in the Bible, it tell you in Corinthians, you was a shadow. You're a shadow first. That's what you are. You're really a shadow. So if you can see a shadow self, you're on your way back to being on your God self. Shadow beings and weird pitches, vibes. Yeah, so those things is the pathway to your upper worlds. You just got to have the psychology. Remember, demons or your demion self work psychically. What they're attracted to is what's inside of you. They go for your weaknesses, your desires. They attract to your desires. If you have no desire, a demon can attach himself to you. As long as you have a desire, when I first took this journey, they told me to bury your desires, hide it deep within yourself. If you love something, don't let nobody know you love it. Because that's how demons work. They're inside of you, and they're going to use it against you to control your mind, to keep you here. But once you don't have no attachments, they pair your whole body, they pair your mind, they got to let you through. They have nothing to fuck with you over. So you only could attach and mess with you if you have some type of attachments to something. And they're going to use that attachment, just like in your dream. You never see strangers in your dreams. It's always your family or somebody you know. You're always somebody you know. That's what makes the dream familiar, but it don't have nothing to do with nobody you know. But they use characters you know to make you emit a certain energy, a certain feeling, a certain emotion, and that's what they feed off of. But it's just you yourself. When you go meet yourself, you're going to see that's what you've been feeding it. That's what it feed off of. I used to be, until I embraced them, that's right. There's an old saying, when you see shadow people, death comes to someone you know. Well, let's hope not, I know I've been doing the shadow people for a while, and death came in the form of the Grim Reaper. When my mother passed away, just April that just passed, I was still in the shadow world for years, 4 or 5 years, and then all of a sudden there's this man with a sickle always standing there when I meditate, just standing there, and I couldn't get it. I thought I was dying. I lost my mind, man. I ran. I went for help. I even saw the Hat Man, who's my altered ego in that world, is actually got killed. And a few days later, they called me and shit, and my mother was dead. The next day, no more Grim Reaper was standing with the sickle no more. It wasn't for me, it was for my mother. But that was a shadow being that was just popped up. It stood with me a month and a half prior to my mother dying. If I knew what it meant, I would have known that's what he came for. But I thought it was for me. I was psychologically fucked up for a while. That's what the Into the Beast videos, the Beast. I went through the Beast. He come with the Beast. When they come to get you, I know now somebody's gonna die. So there is a dude with a sickle. I seen him, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know nothing about that stuff, but it was this dude. Every time I meditate, he's just standing there, bring me put the hoodie and the thing for about, like I said, a month or three, if I remember. I got a whole bunch of pictures and images to show from it if I ever get to it. All right. I made machine glitches when I used to work retail. It used to cause to separate each other, and we both looked at each other, and till this day we never really have found an answer to what that was, and this was in the beginning of my awakening. Khadija, you're not right about everything. I sense the negative energy. Alright, y'all. I'm gonna let y'all talk. I don't want to engage in too much of y'all talk. It's all love, you know. We all learning from each other, so be gentle on each other. We all empaths here, and everybody's bringing information to the tables. So as we bring information to the tables, it's all new. And so what happened with newness is kind of ignorance, and we get into conjunctive dissonance. And so with us, just control our way we have respect for each other, because it's very important to respect each other. You know, because we could change the way a person's destiny is by just saying certain things, and we try not to. You know, because we all here to learn. And nobody's perfect, and nobody's going to get it right. As long as we are the open book or clay that is willing to want to learn and participate, then you're willing to actually configure yourself through neuroplasticity into this new you that you're trying to be. That's what it's really about. People get confused because there is the ancestral Egypt and the recent ancient Egypt more white. All right, okay, let me break that down to you. I'm going to give you a real quick history on the white Egypt and the black Egypt. And it is true. Egypt itself is black from Ethiopia. You know, these is all black people come from Ethiopia before Ethiopia was West Africa. We're talking trading posts where everybody used to come through. One of them was the city of Thebes. Thebes was a very important location, not because Thebes is known from where Alexander the Great and everything, but it's a key location. That was Babylon at one time, because all direction people came and did trading there. And so Ethiopia was the trading headquarters prior to the last age, the flood. And they had all the knowledge there and all the information. And so they started passing it down to Lower Egypt before, and we came into it when it got to Lower Egypt. So terms like Jupiter comes from Ethiopia. Jupiter is their god. They called it Jupiter. You know, it wasn't something that the Greeks made up. You know, Abyssinia is another ancient word, but it wasn't Abyssinia. Abyssinia is a European term. It was abyss. Abyss is the original word, and then they call, you know, Abyssinians will be the collective people. Just like Africa is not, you're not African. If you're one, you're an Afri. African is a bunch of you, but one is an Afri, and an Afri is called an athlete. If you study athlete, A-F-R-I-T, you'll learn what you are. Look that up and study it. You also could look at AFRI and just mean it, and you will see it says natives that once lived in Africa. So you're not talking about somebody Africanus and they name Africa after Africanus. There is some indigenous people that's indigenous to them that's called Afrit. Why Afrit? Because Afrit was the language that was prior to English, which was Arabic. And that's what they say they saw, these people that was called Afrits. Afrits are demons. So that's what they call black people, demons, when the Arabics was ruling. So we became what's called Africans. Africans is demons, or Afrit is one. group of us. So I hope y'all know that. If you didn't know that, just Google the word AFRIT. This is all Chaldean stuff. You understand? So it's Anunnaki stuff. So I'm putting you on. But now back to this. In Asclepius, he actually break it down how we unite with our chakras. What we call demons now is chakras. That's what chakras is. If you didn't know what chakras is demons. So you activate your chakras and you travel through your chakras into the higher world. So it come out to the same thing. You want to see demons? Dragon Ball Z or Goku and all of them, Piccolo and all of them. Those is all demions. You understand? Or active parts of the chakras. Alright, so I hope you understand that. Alright, so I think we covered a lot. I was saying, alright, with Ethiopia, I didn't finish with that when we was talking about it being white and black. I was going to break it down. Alright, so how we get to white overtone? When people started migrating, we made it all the way to the Etruscans who made the Greeks, the Romans. Now you got to realize, while this was happening, we were still in Ice Age in South Europe. South Europe ain't come out the Ice Age yet while this is occurring in lower sea land Earth and all that. So while we're down here with all that we're talking about, these people started to come out the ice. These people called the Anglo-Saxon. Remember now, the Anglo-Saxon going to go to Rome and sack Rome. Destroy Rome, and it's over. And that was the start of the aristocrats, the monarchs, your kings and your queens, and your European rulership. Started off with a group of people that came out of the last part of the Ice Age called the Saxons, the Goths. But there was still now what we call regular white people, the Phoenicians. The Phoenicians now is you have two groups of Europeans here. You have blonde hair, blue eyes. Those is your Anglo-Saxons. They was stuck in the Ice Age. They came out last. Then you have what's called the blonde, brunette hair, regular, no colored eyes. Those is mixed Europeans. If you have blonde hair and blue eyes, you're pure, not mixed. The ones that's mixed, the reason they have the brunette hair and no color in their eyes is because of the Bering Strait. South Europe is connected to Africa and India. That's one body of land. So they was part of the Phoenicians that traded. So this is how you have white Egypt and black Egypt. You had these people that came out of the mountains, these same Anglo-Saxons that was called the Almaluks. You can look it up, Almaluks. And the Almaluks started taking their homes around the Nile. And then through what we call genetic mutation, or what we call the laws of hybridity, they was dying off. And they couldn't understand why. And so they had to start having sex with the indigenous people around the Nile, the black people, with them creating what was called now the sub-race, what we call the Hyksos. The Hyksos is a mix of Arabs. They really could term them Arabs, but you don't understand what we term them in Arabs. Here is not what you see today, because the Spain people was called Arab. They spoke Arabic too, but they looked at white, but they was Arabs. So these Arabs is not the Arabs you see today. These is white-looking Arabs. When they was the Amaluks, why it's important too, I'll tell you, because the Amaluks proved to you the laws of hybridity, because once they left the Caucasus Mountains and took set around the Nile, they eventually died off. Not one trace of them left, even though they was procreating. They're a race that died totally off, and they attribute it to the fact that they left the Caucasus Mountains and took refuge in the Nile. And being that only thing they was able to do was make offsprings of themselves, which started meeting up with the Phoenicians, and then they wind up now with the mutation I told you about that created the Islamic people. These started coming back onto the blacks as usual, to the Egyptians, and they attacked them. And they, by the, what, 10th dynasty, or I think it was, or the 18th dynasty, they turned all white, which is the Hyksos, which is now when the black pharaohs started loving light-skinned women. And when they started having sex with them, they wasn't marrying them, they was concubine. Their son had the right to the throne just like them. And so once the son got in, he started moving in all the families of the Hyksos. So you get now Cleopatra and these funny looking people start coming in there. And Mark Antony and all these funny people start coming in the time of Alexander, because by then it was under the Almaluks and all these other people color change, where you get the Hyksos is not a part of the families of Amen and all of them. These is your early dynasties before the 18th dynasties. So that's how white Egypt and black Egypt come into being. You understand? That's through what's called the law of eugenics and colonization. That was their first attempt. The way that this worked, they say that one gene of them could change a whole Africa. That's how it works. All it needs is one germ, and it could spread the viral. Once one mutate or one mulatto mutate, it's a thing that will happen. Watch what's going to happen in the Arab town where you see the Israelites is at now. That whole place is going to turn like the Jews eventually, and the dark-skinned people is going to be gone, just like we see today. How I tell you, go back in the photo album, the darker, the further you go back, the darker they was. They look right now, everybody is light as fuck. Why is that? That's because of what I'm telling you about. You slip one gene and then you're changing the whole game when you do that. So that's why these people is fighting for their genetic integrity, but it's not going to work. The gene is already in there. Ancestor in Egypt covers part West Africa, North Africa, Northeast Africa. Yes, yes. All of these is the same people, though. I want y'all to realize, regardless of your genetic makeup, you're still the same souls. If you know God's world, we don't care about these forms. These is nothing. You can't die. And so it's you keep coming back in different forms. So you was Chinese, Persians, this, that. Conscious was always conscious. The unconscious, I don't know, I can't speak for them. But you're the same souls coming back in different bodies. What is actually the Holy Spirit that give prophets superpower? AC, that's what we was just going over. This is really the activation of your chakras, the demion coming down on you is your Holy Spirit, activating your demon. You hear Bobby Hemming, if you watch his stuff, talk about it. So when you activating your chakra, your genius, you get this magnetic spirit that come down on you, start off intuition. That is also called the philosopher's stone. It's called the elixir. With it coming down on you, you get this euphoric feeling like you on LSD or some type of, psych drugs, and it just starts a whole process of activation, And so let me show you. This is from my chakras activate. I never had this before, but I got these circles. You see this circle? One, right? Here go two. Right? These just stop popping up on me. And a third circle. And it's only on my feminine side. I got all circles, and I'm talking down my side, my thighs, and they go all the way down onto my legs. And so these is what's called the logos. You activate them. I can't say this happened for everybody, but this is just weird things that's been changing on my body since this been happening. White folks promoted that lie. Yeah, niggas, they got us working for them. Where they're serving is, are we teaching our kids to do it? But these, when you activate the genius in you, everything just become natural. You're going to be doing everything naturally. You'll know things before it happen naturally. And these things work for you. Divine masculine and feminine. That's right, Naga Olmec. You balance the two. Once you balance the two, you become psychic. And that's what you're here to do. And not in a feminine way being feminine. Just being sensitive, a HSP. Sensitive to energy will be able to tap in. How you become sensitive to energy? Take off the energy off of you. Take off people always on you. Take off people always talking in your head. Turn off your phone. Put yourself in a dark room for a while. When you come out, you're mad sensitive to energy. That's all. Okay, white races far from being white. In Africa, they are called colored people. That's true. That's true. Well, they're gonna be running all types of stuff on you. Remember now, there is no such thing as a race. Race is made up by human beings. It's not something real. There's black people that has white skin. There's white people who have black skin. And if we look at it that way, we always gonna lose. We have to get out of that looking at things from our external look by judging a person for the color of their skin, because they made up the laws of that and we believe in it. And so as long as we believe in it, they're gonna win always. There is no race. There is no white people here. Where you see white people at? What are you talking about? You're telling me I must have read that doctrine on whiteness. No, it's only one race here and many mutations. Remember that. They know that's a defective gene, period. Period. And you know that's defectiveness. Eyes being blue and hair being, that's defectiveness. That's not good. But we're not here to discuss these type of terms. But there's only one race. There's only a Negro race, a black race. There's no other race here. And everything else is a mutation. That's why we broke it down. So if you say this is a race and that is a race, then you're not seeing the truth. The truth is there's only one race, a black race. They know this. They're going to tell you this in the future, and it's going to be hard for you to accept because you want something for yourself and you believe it's yours. No, I'm here to teach you something that they're lying to you. There's no such thing as race. There's no scientific fact to prove no race thing exists. And there's an ego thing that is. And there's only one true race. If you trace back, white people will be gone, wiped off. So they're not a race. They're a mutation. Black race only. So what you're looking at is a black person with white skin. There's no such thing as a white person. They don't have a home. They don't have a genetic territory tied to them. Human, artificial, LK, and plus you got to realize the greatest part of this is to track down your mutations. When we talking Hottentot and Pygmies, Kafars, Etruscans, you get to see all your different things. Come back 100 years from now, white people ain't the end of it. They're going to be other parts, and then you'll be looking at, damn, then this came, then this came. We only up to that part of it now. But you get to see the timeline as it play out. Why? And then in the beginning, you're looking from the Bible, Egypt is set up, Africa is set up, Babylon is set up. The black people been had their thing going when there wasn't no white people. And I'm not being racist about it, but I'm saying it shows you in the plain facts how it went down. There was one group of people that mutated by migrating. And today we have these bunch of people talking about I'm Portuguese, I'm Puerto Rican, I'm Chinese, I'm this. You're not all of that. God be like, shut up. Let me just say that. Leave it at that. You're all black, everybody. That's it. It's nobody else. When you do the genetic research, they're going to tell you that. I could show you all of it on TED Talk. That anybody who chases their genetics is going to have black genetics. Any white person, how come black people don't have white genetics in them? Don't let me even go there then. You understand? So we could get off of this talk, and that's that. So everybody is one race only. And that's, you needed the precursor, which is black, to make everything else. Where did the Chinese language come from? The Chinese language come from the stars. Every language, the Sanskrit language come from the stars. Every language come from looking in the sky and seeing these letters that the first persons to do it was the Hebrews. Chinese language is the newest language. Chinese language is not old. It's very new. As a matter of fact, when Reichenbach was writing the book, Chinese didn't have a language yet. You understand? You got to study when Chinese got their language. They got them like they old or whatever. I'm talking written language. And all languages come from what's called abjabs. Abjabs is tied into animals and stars. So if you said A, it had to have a symbol to go with it. You can't just say A and say, like how they do with the vowels. They made it up. That's not real. That's called that's called an abjad because it's fake. Our language is called Semitic. Semitic language is the original language of indigenous people, meaning it was only a language of consonants. No vowels is in the language. Consonants is tied to planets, stars, and symbols. They had a symbol that represented every letter that we call the consonant, and we never used a vowel. Vowel got put into it when English got made. If you look when vowels were invented, somebody Google it and put it in the comments. Google when was J invented. So when you see when J was invented, you get to see when the word Jesus was put into the Bible. J came up in the 17th century. J was just here yesterday. So this man couldn't be called Jesus. A whole bunch of things ain't true as we think. Now look at when vowels was created. Look up the word abjab, A-B-J-A-B, and you will see it tells you there's a fake English and then there's a real consonant or Semitic language. When you say fake English, it means it has abjabs in it, meaning you inserted vowels that don't have a symbol that's universal in around the whole world or to space and time associated with it. They just take it and say, well, the A means this in European, this means that, and it can mean something else in Chinese. And that's where the problem come in, where we have now books that's interpreted with these abjabs in it or vowels in it, because it's the country that tell you what the meaning of them is. So that make your book not true no more in translation. It's not translated right once you put vowels into it. And that's one of the problems a lot of people had with the Quran back in the days and a whole bunch of stuff, because we ain't supposed to change the word or nothing. Everything is supposed to have stood the same so we can interpret it and understand it. But once Europeans got a hold of it, they put vowels in it. And why did they put vowels in it? So they could switch the meaning and put lies in it. That's it. All right. Anyways, this is fun, interesting. We almost did 3 hours of talk. This has been very wonderful. I'll be here forever talking with y'all. This thing is long. Oh my God. Yo, y'all got it in today. Thank y'all. Look at these. I'm going to be here doing these comments for a long time. Oh. All right. So y'all know this is the best one so far. Donna Suave. I give y'all the thumbs up. Thank you, Donna Suave, and everybody. Wow. I'm glad to see so many people came and check it out. A lot of comments. Y'all make you feel good. I'll be back tomorrow. And it's only love, like I said, and we only can make love by giving love. Don't ask for love. Give love. Don't try to make somebody happy. Leave them alone. Let them be happy. Don't seek peace. Leave them alone. Let them have some peace, man. Change up the game now. Don't do things the way we used to do it, man. Let's change the world, man. You don't have to live like that no more, man. Stop trying to change things. Give people what they want. Everybody, give them what they want. Make them happy, man. You only live once. Enjoy it. You hear? One love.